Carolina, the Outlaws' evening began with great promise and high expectations. Everyone focused forward. What followed was explosive. Cars, drivers, and crews pushed to their limits, racing each other and the elements. The smashing and thrashing gave way to eventual disappointment as the feature was postponed due to rain. Tonight they'll crank it up, and the checkered flag will fall on 2 feature races here on TNN. The sun has been shining all day long here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway dirt track, and we are set to go racing under ideal conditions. It is night number 2 of the Chip Thunder Outlaw Showdown, presented by Lance Snacks, and it's all coming your way right here on TNN Sports. The aftermath of last night's carnage. Folks, you just can't believe these teams have been working and rebuilding their race cars since we signed off the air at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time a night ago. But we are set to go racing in what should be a wonderful night of activity here in the Queen City of the Carolinas. Hi and welcome. I'm Eli Gold along with Brad Doty. We have dried out. Hopefully the same can be said for you. But I'll tell you something, going through the pits this afternoon, Brad, it's been a while since I have seen that degree of work, that degree of thrashing going on in these race cars.
Oh, it does. It looks like a bomb went off down there, doesn't it? I mean, there's cars everywhere, pieces and parts. There's 4 or 5 teams completely built brand new race cars. Another 2 or 3 changed everything, but maybe the motor, maybe the steering box. I've never seen anything like it.
We talked to so many of the drivers throughout the course of the afternoon, and to a man, they all said, trust me, we're happy to see last night come and go. We're rebuilt. We're ready to race tonight.
Last night it was nothing went very well all night. We had rain off and on, and then it looked like we was going to finally get it in, and it rained. So we just come back and do it again. Is all you can do.
And lo and behold, here come the main. We was coming down the front stretch. Some guys started scooting together, and we just got the Oreo out the deal. We got sandwiched and got put out. So we'll give them that one. They better be coming back tonight, loaded for bear.
We were leading the race. Thought, our race car felt really good. Mother Nature rained on us, so everybody's got to come back today and do her again.
And we are here again today under ideal conditions. It is 72 degrees. Most importantly, you see clear skies. As a result, they have done a lot of work on the racetrack, Brad. A lot of the teams, quite honestly, were concerned up until just an hour or so ago as to how this track would hook together.
Well, they were concerned, obviously, after last night. They went out and watered the track today, and boy, most teams thought that was a big mistake, that it was too wet as it was. They've done a great job working this track in, and it's looking really good right now.
But leave it to our own Doctor of Dirt, Dave Argabright, the associate editor of Open Wheel magazine. He has spent much of this afternoon monitoring the track preparation. And Dave, we've seen hot laps and qualifying already tonight. This track is doing just fine.
Doctor of Dirt, now that's scary. Eli, the problem last night was just too much moisture. The rain came and they just couldn't deal with that much moisture in the racetrack. It got soft and therefore got rutted and very, very rough. Now they've ground up the track. They started at 8 o'clock this morning. They cut up the track. They, like kneading dough, they tried to dry it out in the daytime air, then packed it very, very hard, and have now concentrated on grooming that top 2 inches. So it should be much smoother tonight and much more racy. The question's going to be, as the sun goes down and they race on it, the night air should bring some more moisture back up out of the racetrack, and it is very possible that it would get rough and bumpy again.
We'll all find out together. Of course, Brad, you don't often see big equipment, heavy equipment like that smoothing out a racetrack.
You don't see rollers on a dirt racetrack very often, but again, they've done a great job today.
Now, another guy who's working on his race car all afternoon long, Jason Myers. If you were with us here late yesterday, you know that his car was one of the casualties from the late race problems last night. Bobby Gerald, we're getting a look at what happened to Jason Myers' race car. The car tonight looks nothing like the carnage we're seeing on the screen.
Well, yeah, that car took a big hit last night, and here is that race car that you just saw flipping over. That's what remains of it. It was a hard night of labor for the 4-man team here with Jason Myers pitching in a little bit, but the driver of the car also took what he told me was his hardest hit so far in his rookie career here with the World of Outlaws. And how are you feeling here tonight, Jason? Are you ready to go?
Well, you know, I'm ready to go. I am a little sore, but, you know, that's nothing a little time won't heal. And the good thing is I'm okay. You know, bruises will heal, and the guys here worked real hard. And, you know, not only did we crash last night, you got a grueling downpour that come in, and just they're out here working in the rain trying to get the car fixed. You get up early this morning and worked real hard. And Craig and Linda Cormack got a great team here that just worked real hard to get us back together. So we'll be back in contention for night. You know, last night the Eagle chassis and these new Brodix heads giving us great horsepower, and it was sad to see that last night because we had a top 5 car, you know. So we'll be back tonight to get them.
The trials and tribulations of being a rookie on the World of Outlaws Tour.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Now a look at our first Mopar starting grid for the first of the A-Mains this evening. Mopar, parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. That is the running order as we left you last night. Only 18 of the starters still remain, and 6 laps are complete of the 30 that make up the first of our 2 A-Mains here tonight.
Yeah, 2 for the price of 1 tonight. These guys, they've reworked the track again, put a little more water on. It's a very hard guessing game for these guys right now to know what this track's going to do.
There you see those who started last night somewhere around 10 o'clock Eastern time and are not around to run here right now. They have, of course, rebuilt their cars, and they will run later in the evening. Again, if you're not familiar with the format and all that's taken place, we got all the way up to lap number 6 of the feature last night, the A-Main. That's when the rains hit. That was after it took 45 minutes to run those first 6 laps. So we're picking up where we were last night, and then after this A-Main is done, we will have another entire evening of racing for you, including heats and the Channellock Dash and so on. So we're just getting cranked. Here we go, green flag from Glenn Jarman, and Danny the Dude Lasowski takes the restart at lap number 7 of 30.
I'm kind of surprised Steve Kinzer let Danny Lasowski get a lead on him like that coming down for the green flag. It's almost like Steve was laying back trying to time when Lasowski was going to get on the throttle and try to get a run at him.
There you see the battle, middle of the field, as the drivers on lap number 1 have to kind of feel out this racetrack all over again.
Well, again, we talked about it being so greasy and they reworked it, but these guys, tired crews, they've worked all night building race cars and things. The last thing they want to do is go out here, and a lot of them are on their last race car, the only car they have left. You know, they can't be tearing things up in this main event here.
Now remember the significance also. Not only are you going for the bragging rights, Lasowski wants to win and get half points, but the top 4 finishers in this A-Main become locked in to the rest of this evening's activities.
Yeah, those 4 cars won't have to run the heat races or anything else. They'll go into right into the dash, and that again determines the lineup for the second A-Main tonight.
There you see the 1 of Swindell, the 2 of Hillenberg. They're battling. Second, third, fourth spot behind that man, Danny Lasowski. He's got a half second ahead of Steve Kinzer. Lasowski driving, as well you know, for Tony Stewart, who will be doing double duty himself tomorrow in the Indianapolis 500 and the Coca-Cola 600.
10 consecutive top 10 finishes. We talked about it last night. He's been very consistent this year, and the racetrack, not a lot of passing going on right now, and that's the way obviously he likes it, being out front. They restarted this race single file, and the way they were running last night, and Danny, he's coming up on some lap traffic. He just wants this thing to go green to checkered and without any problems.
We are at lap number 15 right now, so we are halfway through the crossed flags. Lasowski is now closing in on race traffic. You'll see in just a second as he closes in on other machines near the tail end of the field. So he's going to have to pick his way through that pack of traffic.
I've said it so many times, Eli, that's what really makes the World of Outlaw races interesting, the way the drivers can get through lap traffic, and sometimes it bottles them up behind, and the second place guy actually has the advantage over the leader.
As Chris looks on from the pit area, you saw Lasowski go around Randy Hannigan. He's got Jason Myers in his sights next. All of this taking place still a half second ahead of Steve Kinzer, who is running in the second spot.
That's Donnie Schatz and Jeff Shepard and Tim Schaefer right there. Schatz last night, a clod of mud, Eli, actually came up and knocked the water pump right off the front of the engine, and they ruined a $40,000 engine just from the mud coming through and literally knocked the water pump clear off the engine.
That's some of the stories we've seen and dealt with in the pits today. Back up front, here comes Kinzer to the inside of Lasowski.
That's for the
10
lead.
laps to go, 10 remaining. That is for the lead.
Oh, Steve gets, well, Lasowski did too a little bit. Steve got real high. You could tell it's a little bit greasy up there on top. He got real wide and lost a lot of ground to Lasowski.
Still haven't gotten by Jason Myers. Meanwhile, further back, that's the 8th and 9th place battle you're watching right there as Donnie Schatz makes the move inside of the Vibrant machine and gets around Schaefer. That's a swap of positions right there with 7 laps to go now.
That's Hannigan in the black 1X with Shepard right behind him. Track starting to widen out now, Eli. They're running a little bit higher grooves and all over the racetrack.
See some dust beginning to kick up also as the track dries out some. Lasowski up front. Kinzer running in second for the lead. 5 laps to go. And the dude holds off the king.
Yeah, he's coming up on Jason Myers and I believe Danny Wood in the 21. Look at us side by side. Steve's got the line.
Kinzer's got the lead. So the Quaker State colors now with 4 laps to go. Lasowski comes back on the outside.
Boy, that woke Danny up when he saw that green machine come under him.
Last night, folks, there wasn't any passing going on. What a difference a day makes. There's 3rd place Swindell. You're watching Sammy. As finally Lasowski gets around Wood, still hasn't gotten around Myers, but Kinzer gets caught in behind Danny Wood's machine.
Yeah, look at there, Sammy Swindell in the blue Channellock car closing in on Steve Kinzer.
Couple of laps remaining now. It'll be the white flag next time for Danny the Dude Lasowski, while the problems take on the number 3 of Mike Goodman. Goodman with problems. Caution is out. Caution is out. So the scoring will revert back 1 more lap as Glenn Jarman has to put the caution out because of the problems for Bob Goodman. Phew. What a change from a night ago.
Yeah, running nonstop, no yellows until now. What a big difference.
TNN Sports is with you at the dirt track at the Lowe's Motor Speedway as Danny Lasowski and his wife Chris try and pray their way towards a win in this preliminary A.
Even a good ride is going to hurt you.
And I don't think there's anybody else with much more guts than they have.
It's an 8-second throw ride.
TNN Sports coverage of the Chip Thunder Outlaw Showdown presented by Lance Snacks is being brought to you by Mopar. Parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. And by Luxair, setting the performance standard in heating and air conditioning. Welcome back, everybody. The dirt track here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina. A wonderful evening, as you see, not a cloud in the sky. It's been that way all day. Brad Doty, let's talk about dirt tracks themselves, the actual racing surface. I'm a novice. How often do you see a perfect track? I mean, is this too wet? Is it too dry? How often do you see a perfect track?
Well, it's not that often. It's hard to do. I mean, to hit that, the perfect track is a little bit of black shine through the middle with a good bottom groove and a good top groove. Right now, this is getting pretty close. It's getting pretty racy.
It really is racy. A little dust being kicked up in the corners, but not terribly so.
Well, I'd call that loose dirt, not necessarily dust at this point, but some people might say, what's the difference? It's actually some wet dirt just kind of flying around, but they'll keep an eye on it and they'll keep watering it.
It is a green flag, then the white flag, and then the checker to wrap up the first of our 2 A mains here tonight. Here comes the white flag for Lasowski. The battle behind him for second, Swindell and Kinzer. That's Steve Kinzer who has second spot. Swindell in that blue number 1. That's for second. They touch going into turn numbers 3 and 4. Lasowski wins. Second place to Kinzer. Swindell is third and give fourth to Hillenberg. Those are the 4 cars that will advance throughout and get locked in to this evening's activities. Chris, your hubby's a winner.
For those that are new to this sport, Sammy and Steve Kinzer have been doing that kind of thing for over 20 years, and they're not always the best of friends. So I imagine Steve will let him know he wasn't real happy with that.
Danny Lasowski picking up the win here in the first of our 2 A mains here tonight. Of course, on the old track here in Charlotte, he had some pretty decent success at the Metrolina Speedway, but really hadn't done better than 9th here at this track at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. That was until this evening.
Boy, this isn't what Mark Kinzer wants to see. You know, leading the points, they're really tight in points, and to see Lasowski win this thing and him sitting on the trailer, that's got to hurt.
I'll tell you, that Swindell and Kinzer battle here in the last turn of the last lap, this was a good one.
Well, Steve did leave the door open just a little bit, and Sammy went in there. And, I mean, it wasn't a flagrant. I mean, you can see Sammy actually turned the car. I don't know from that angle if they actually did touch Steve. Boy, I don't know. Yes.
If they didn't touch, they missed a heck of an opportunity.
Absolutely. And you could see Sammy actually twitch the car a little bit sideways to avoid a collision.
Stevie Smith, by the way, from 18th to 8th when all was said and done. So that's going to at least give him some confidence for later in the night. But Bobby Gerald, all night last night and early tonight, that's the man.
There he is, Danny Lasowski, and taking over the point lead with this win with Mark Kinzer sitting out. Big day still yet in front of you, dude. But take us through that quick 30-lapper.
Well, it was a crapshoot because we didn't know what the racetrack was going to be like, and we actually had our car way too loose. And then Steve almost collected us there at the end. I didn't have no idea in that last caution. I moved the wing and stuff, and the car got a lot better. But we're just glad we're locked in and hoping we can put this deal together in the next race.
Your wife was cheering you on big time from over there in the stands, and I think she was getting nervous a couple of times when you were up on the high side, really struggling to get around some of the cars that were at the tail end because everybody was fast.
Yeah, I did that for my car on Tony's turd. He says that we're a catfish and we want to run the bottom, so I just showed him we can run the top too.
And you did a nice job. Danny Lasowski's all smiles down here. He is the winner of your prelim and the new World of Outlaws points leader.
That's right. If he is a bottom feeder, he's taking it all the way to the top, leading the points with another whole night of racing coming up.
I'm from Wisconsin, and when I'm not out milking cows, I'm watching TNN.
I'm from Maryland. I like to eat crabs when I'm watching WWF on TNN.
We're from Columbus, Ohio, and we watch the WWF on TNN.
I'm from Washington, D.C., and when we're not talking politics, we're talking WWF.
What's up? I'm from San Diego.
South Florida.
Oklahoma. I'm from Rochester, New York, and we think WWF kicks butt.
TNN is coast to coast.
WWF on TNN!
Change is good.
All ages are here for the Chip Thunder Outlaw Showdown, presented by Land Snacks. Night number 2 of this 2-night show. By virtue of those first A main races, or the first race you saw moments ago, Danny Lasowski, Steve Kinzer, Sammy Swindell, and Andy Hillenberg are now locked in for the rest of the evening. And Lasowski has taken over the point lead, as we mentioned, what with Mark Kinzer having dropped out of the main last night. In the pits, engine problems for Steve Kinzer. Dave, what's the story?
Steve Kinzer, that was quite a race down there. Now, you got past Danny, but then he got back by you. What happened?
Well, I don't know. We was just trying to hang on. We had a cylinder down from the word go. Motor wasn't running. I was just lucky. I can't believe we finished. So we're just tickled to death just to get finished here.
Your old rival Sammy was right in there too, and very close racing. Was there contact? Did you bang wheels?
No, there wasn't no contact. I'm just as bad as this motor was. I'm surprised we hung in there, and really was surprised when we almost got the lead. But we'll just work on it and go back out.
And you're making a motor change now. How much of a help is it finishing that top 4? You don't have to run these heats.
Well, we was going to have to change the motors whatever we done. We couldn't run with what we had, so it is a help to give us plenty of time to do that.
Eli, back to you.
All right, then, Brad, obviously you were right. There was no contact there. Look at this now. Sammy Swindell's got an engine change going.
Well, I was surprised when Steve Kinzer said he had a cylinder gone from the start of that race and almost won it. And to hold Sammy off like that, well, obviously Sammy was having a motor trouble too. This is part of the grind that these guys, I mean, they've worked all night last night just repairing damage from, even if they didn't crash, just from running a full night on a rough racetrack. There's a lot of maintenance to do. Now they have to change an engine.
Uh-oh. Brad Doty. We'll see y'all up at Lernerville next week.
Just over 100 years ago, 50,000 Union and Confederate soldiers were killed in the Battle of Gettysburg. In tribute to this historic event, the American Mint has proudly issued the Robert E. Lee and George G. Meade commemorative coin. This detailed collector's coin is genuine legal tender. This brilliant uncirculated coin honors the Union General George G. Meade and Confederate General Robert E.
5 states. Now this series tests more than speed. It tests drivers' endurance and resolve, but it rewards consistency and dedication.
The hardest part with the racing with the World level is so intense every night. Anybody can win.
If a guy doesn't do good, you beat yourself up, you beat your team up, the team beats you up. The driving back and forth to the races every night, 300 miles a night, gets tough on a guy. Being away from home, and if you have a family and they don't travel with you, boy, that's really tough.
I have two sons and a daughter, and my boys are in school, Lucas and Garrett, and you know, so it's difficult at the point when they're in school.
Me, I'm by myself. Wife and kids are at home, so I'm by myself in the motorhome. That's the hardest part.
Tonight they'll pack up, and tomorrow they'll be off to upstate New York for 2 shows. Then they'll head to Pennsylvania. And one thing's for sure, you really have to love this sport to endure the grueling outlaw schedule.
All right, Lisa, thank you. There's a good overhead look at the 4/10 mile Lowe's Motor Speedway dirt track. It's a great looking facility and some good racing, including the first of our O'Reilly Auto Parts heats upcoming here as we check out the starting lineup for heat number 1. Billy Wilburn and Craig Delansky going in that first row. Jeff Shepard and the man who's quick here tonight, Tim Schaefer, turning in a great lap during qualifying.
Yeah, good run for him. As you can see, they invert the top 4. That's why he's in the second row outside.
Steve Kinzer's son Craig is in this one. So too Keith Butler, who's made the move from asphalt. He ran the Tampa Bay Auto Racing Association asphalt race at Orlando back a season ago. Wonder how tough that transition is. Of course, in the NASCAR days when they used to run some dirt and some asphalt, the guys made that change week to week.
Well, there's a lot of guys that do it. Probably the first guy that comes to mind is Casey Kane, you know, running a wing sprint car in the dirt and back to asphalt. And, you know, most good race car drivers, within a lap or 2, they got a good feel for it.
You know, we've talked so much on our telecasts about the tire war for the season, the Hoosier tires and the Goodyear tires. And in the case of Mark Kinzer there at the action track, using them each throughout the course of the evening. For those who don't understand what tire wars are all about, I remember with NASCAR, from my background, when we had a tire war over there, it was a different compound, it was different sidewall construction, there was even to some degree a bit of a different shape or a crown to the tire. Is it the same thing in dirt?
Exactly, but the interesting thing about that stat is 6 wins for Goodyear, 3 in the last races until Danny Lasowski won tonight. But yes, to answer your question, the carcasses are different, the compounds are different from each other, and yeah, the shape, the Hoosier tire is sloped because the stagger of a sprint car, the smaller left rear tire, they have the tire smaller on the inside, so it puts more tire tread onto the racetrack. So interesting thing there.
Now last night, of course, we saw Mark Kinzer, going from the Hoosiers to the Goodyears. Now is that for performance because of the track on a given evening, or is it because of a gut feeling call that Carl Kinzer made?
Well, probably a little of both, but with Goodyear being so fast the last couple of races, and they were fast again last night, whether Carl thought maybe the tires are just that much better, or it was track conditions, but he made the decision to go with the Goodyears. He thought they were better. It's really hard to say why he made the decision last night.
So just a little bit of what goes into a tire war. Many of you already knew all of that, but if you're new to the world of racing, a little explanation might have been in order. The first of our heat races is underway here at the dirt track at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Billy Wilburn in that blue 0 being challenged by Craig Delansky in that red number 7.
Wilburn said last night he borrowed an engine from Andy Hillenberg. That's Indiana. Andy Hillenberg runs the ARCA and has his driving school. It's his borrowed engine, and Wilburn said, what a difference the engine has made. This thing, look at him. He's pulling away from Craig Delansky, who runs Charlie Fisher's motors, and they're no slouches.
The vibrant colors for Schaefer coming charging up towards the forefront. Tim's been strong all evening long as the smoke begins to billow up from the Craig Kinzer entry. That's Steve's son.
Not a lot of experience. Craig doesn't. This is his first year in a sprint car. Doing a really good job, though. He's really uses his head and stays out of trouble and has a good feel for that race car, it looks like.
Only competed 12 times this year between high school classes. He was 11th at Topeka. That was his best performance for Craig Kinzer. That is that second place battle. Schaefer in the yellow machine. Delansky in the red number 7. Working lap number 5.
And look at the racetrack, Eli. It's that roller that we saw earlier has packed it down. It's pretty hard underneath, which will help keep it from rutting out. You see it starting to dry just a little bit. And that's the way these guys like it. As far as racers, slowing the corner speeds down makes for better racing.
It's kind of like the track has a bit of a crust on it.
Exactly. It just gets a hard crust on it. It's only a couple inches thick sometimes, but see Wilburn getting a little sideways as he comes off of the checkered flag, but it's in good shape right now, the track.
So Billy Wilburn, who has competed at Las Vegas, Texas, Talladega, Terre Haute Action Track in Granite City, and look what happens after the checkered flag.
Boy, oh
Do
boy.
you believe that? Billy Wilburn, who last night had a spectacular ride going and held on to the race car when he lost a tire, and I don't know how he kept it out of the wall last night. Here he finds himself taking the checkers, and the Goodyear Eagle goes bye-bye, and so too does Wilburn's car into the turn 2 wall.
That's a front tire off the rim. Now whether that came off first and started this,
we'll see if we can tell on the replay here. Let's watch. He's already won. This is on the cool down. Well, didn't see anything come off at that point until right there when he impacted the wall.
Yeah, I don't know. It almost looks like he just got in too high, and it's wet up there.
Wouldn't common sense, though, dictate that something must have broken?
Well, it almost looked like the car, as he went into the corner, it almost looked like the car kind of went straight.
It wouldn't turn.
But I didn't see it drop on the right front like a tire came off. But, you know, we talked about the lefters coming off last night of Wilburn and Dale Blaney, the leader, when he flipped. I talked to a lot of these guys, including Billy Wilburn, about bead locks that was sandwiches the tire on the rim, and most guys don't run it on the right front right there. There's no bead lock, and you know sometimes they'll peel off, and I don't know if that happened or not.
There he takes the checkers, so he wins the heat, and everything looks intact. Of course, the problem is on the right side if there is a problem, and there the car just won't turn.
But I don't see the front end drop down. I mean, there the tire's off, and I really almost think that happened
upon impact.
Yeah, after he hit the wall, because I didn't see the right front corner drop.
We'll find out from Billy, I'm sure, because he knows tires. He, of course, is Rusty Wallace's tire changer on NASCAR Winston Cup weekends, and he'll be working tomorrow across the street at the big track. But now, how much damage has been done? Can he come back to race again tonight? There are the 4 who have advanced from the first O'Reilly Auto Parts heat race.
Just over 100 years ago, 50,000 Union and Confederate soldiers were killed in the Battle of Gettysburg. In tribute to this historic event, the American Mint has proudly issued the Robert E. Lee and George G. Meade commemorative coin. This detailed collector's coin is genuine legal tender. this brilliant uncirculated coin on it.
Yeah, I'm fine. I just hope we can get it fixed so we can start the feature.
All right, Billy Wilburn's a tough customer. Wild circumstances here the last couple nights in heat races for Billy Wilburn in the Zero.
Yeah, kind of bizarre. Had a tire come off last night as well. But you got to think, like I said, common sense dictates that either something broke or he just lost his concentration after he took the checkers. And knowing Billy as I do and as you do, that's not likely to have happened.
Not at all. And again, seeing that tire roll down off the track, the track there, I didn't see the right front corner drop, but boy, if it came off, it definitely will do that. I mean, it's just no control at that point.
Just one of those things that makes you go. Now heat number 2 for the O'Reilly Auto Parts folks here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Dale Blaney's in this one. Jason Myers is in this one. Ben Basinger. Did you see Jason Myers and Iowa's Tyler Swank today? They were building a brand new Eagle. Davey Whitworth was there, the crew guys getting it all done. That's how they spent their day. Repairing from last night, building a brand new car from the ground up.
So did Blaney, the 10 car. That's a brand new race car. It's a Maxim. It's not the Dave Blaney chassis. This one is a Maxim. They had their work cut out for him too.
P.J. Chesson gets the jump on Blaney as Blaney in the 10 challenges for the lead. This is lap number 2 now of the second heat.
This 10 car, Blaney's what we call more of a conventional sprint car.
He won his only World of Outlaw race 2 weeks ago at Granite City, Illinois. Did that number 10 of Blaney. Of course, Chesson earned 8th with the Outlaws in the prelim last week at Williams Grove Speedway.
See Tim Schaefer in the. Or that's Donnie Schatz.
Donnie right there, yeah. Going way high. A little rim riding for Schatz through the corner.
Yeah, I just glanced and saw the yellow car there, and thinking of Schaefer in the last heat, he was coming on real strong, but got up there and lost a lot of ground. It's still a little bit moist up there.
Donnie Schatz last night set fast time for only the second time this year. He did it at Eldora also. But P.J. Chesson with 7/10 of a second of an advantage on Dave Blaney, or at least Dale Blaney, I should say. Donnie Schatz running in 3rd. Myers is 4th. Sides is going 5th. Then Bridges, Bennett, and Basinger. That's the 8 who are out there in this 3rd heat.
P.J. just graduating from college last weekend. Young guys.
The Chessons have had some pretty decent runs this year.
Yeah, they really have. And I mean, it's been up and down for them. And boy, the last few weeks, they really seem to have gotten it together.
White flag is out. Now the checkers for P.J. Chesson. He, Blaney, Schatz, and Myers will all advance to the A-Main here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway tonight. Solid run for P.J. Chesson.
Really was. Again, they're picking up that program.
You know, I'm just shocked at the difference from one night to the other in this racetrack, and obviously in the quality of competition we're seeing.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot more passing. Last night it was too fast and too heavy, and their ball running about wide open, and when they weren't turning over, that is.
There you see the guys who have advanced in the Chip Thunder Outlaw Showdown. Brad Doty is coming to Lernerville next weekend.
The Rockford Files, yeah, classic. Jim Rockford, PI, that was him. I'm presently a law student and was a police officer. Rockford was certainly outside.
Carolina, we're just 15 miles up Interstate 85 from the heart of Uptown, as they call it here. You might call it downtown Charlotte. Here they call it Uptown. In the pit area, Dave Argerbright with P.J. Chesson, who picked up the W here seconds ago.
Just graduated, Eli, with a history degree, Easton, Pennsylvania's Lafayette College. What's more fun, Guy, winning a heat race or finals at college?
Winning the heat race, probably just by a little bit.
You know, now we've seen a great change from last night with the racetrack. What will we see with a few more heat races? Is it going to stay smooth and tacky?
Yeah, it's definitely going to stay smooth. The track's really nice tonight. It's going to be great racing. There'll probably be 2 or 3 good lines. Maybe through the middle, you can stick the car through the middle. Just as the time goes on, we'll see. But the bottom and the top are going to be great. It's going to be a great race to watch tonight.
How many of these outlaw races will we see you appear in this year?
A lot more now that I graduated. We're really excited about that. We're going out to Knoxville next week to watch Davey. Davey Brown's going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, so we're going to race out there, get some time at Knoxville before the Nationals, and then we're going to travel around a lot, hopefully with the Outlaws, so you'll see us a lot more.
He told me yesterday, guys, that since he's graduated from college, he knows it all now.
Doesn't everybody when they graduate? Of course, the Hall of Fame next weekend. Brad Doty being inducted as well. Of course, Don Martin, the late owner of the Lernerville Speedway there in Sarver, Pennsylvania, being inducted posthumously. It's a very, very special weekend for you, Brad.
Yeah, it really is. And Gary Stanton, who I have driven for, he's going in. So, and Davey Brown, and it's going to be a great weekend.
We'll talk more about that, of course, next weekend when we're up at Lernerville. Here we go with heat number 3, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Maybe your favorites in there. Be interesting to see how Mark Kinzer's rebuilt racer runs. I guess pretty well. Remember Kyle Sauter last night, the great run that he had going. He starts further back in this heat. Let's take a look. Oh, trouble in the back of the field, and that's going to be the blue number 1 of Mike Hudson from right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. His Maxim getting kicked out into the corner and up towards the wall. So the yellow will fly one more time out of the hands of Glenn Jarman. Tough break right off the bat for Mike Hudson, who opened defense of his 2000 AOAS title.
Yeah, right there, watch it gets turned around, and lucky for both those cars, it didn't get upside down. When he got spun back around the left like that, it's one of the left rear didn't dig in and just turn him over. He was slowed down enough at that point. It wouldn't have been a hard tip over, but Sauter right there clips him. He's lucky that he didn't go up over top of the wheel and turn himself over too.
Mike won last week in Fayetteville, North Carolina. The AOAS we were talking about, the American Outlaw Action Series that runs here in the North and South Carolina area, state of Tennessee as well. Work in the pits and busy on the track. We're back in a moment.
Cell phones. Everybody has one. And now you can turn yours into a hands-free speakerphone system like those expensive luxury cars. Introducing CellTech. That's right, it turns your ordinary cellular phone into a hands-free speakerphone. No more fumbling with your cell phone when your hand should be on the wheel. With CellTech, you can talk and listen completely hands-free while you drive safely and comfortably.
Everything's signed and ready to go.
That's great. I'll be there in about 10 minutes, okay?
CellTech works with all the top makes and models, like Nokia, Motorola, Ericsson, and more. Simply place your phone in the padded phone holder and clip the holder to your vent. Now attach the power pack to your phone, plug the other end into your cigarette lighter, and that's it. Just a few quick seconds and you're ready to go. The built-in speaker and microphone let you enjoy the same hands-free convenience as the drivers of those expensive luxury cars.
I still have to pick up Sean at soccer practice.
Okay, honey. I'll pick up something for dinner. See you soon.
In fact, your CellTech has even more features. The powerful speaker can be tilted for optimum hearing, and you can adjust the volume any way you like it. And look, CellTech also comes with a charger outlet, so you can charge your phone while you're using it. When you leave the car, you have a fully charged cell phone to take with you. But the greatest feature of all is the price. You've seen similar hands-free phone kits selling for almost $60. But CellTech, with all its features, is yours for the amazing low price of only $19.
Go. Oh, the field aligning themselves as we resume racing. This is the third of the O'Reilly Auto Parts heats.
See what Mark Kinzer did there? He drove up and stood on the gas. He wanted to see how wet it is up there and make sure it's not too slippery. Nice veteran move on his part to get up there and just feel that out a little bit under slow laps here.
You can't beat seat time in any form of racing,
no, and these guys get plenty of it, don't they? 100-some races a year.
Paul McMahon carrying the onboard cameras here on the restart.
Yeah, Mark Kinzer, those guys changed about everything except the engine.
And the steering wheel, he said.
The steering wheel, the frame is bent up and twisted a little bit, but they elected to run it tonight.
As they come off the corner to the stripe, Herrera is the leader. Gracie is second. Mark Kinzer is going to challenge Gracie and says, good night, Gracie. He'll take second spot, Kinzer does. Gracie is back to third. Brad Furr running in fourth. Everybody trying to pick their way through.
Gracie in that 25, Eli running that Ford and giving up a lot of weight. The Ford's a lot heavier than than the Chevrolet design or the Mopar.
Making his North Carolina racing debut this weekend, Gracie is. Donnie Herrera made 6 starts for Craig Cormack. 11 for Junior Holbrook, 4 with Lonnie Parsons. That's already this year. That's already this year. I'm not reading the man's career numbers. Those are his 2001 numbers.
Yeah, they got the 6-car running real well tonight. He's holding off Mark Kinzer.
There's Herrera's wife.
That's Johnny's wife, Shannon, cheering him on also. Oh, look, Mark Kinzer puts a slider on him, gets by.
Nice slide move right there. Shannon didn't much like that one, but we've got lots of racing yet to go. Kinzer, Herrera, Furr, McMahon. They'll be coming to the white flag here in this third heat. White is out. Just tough to beat Mark and Carl Kinzer. They rebuilt that car from the ground up. We can't say that often enough, it seems. And it's not missing a beat. Checkered flag, Kinzer, Herrera, Furr, and then the U2 of McMahon. They will advance with a good battle right back to the stripe for everybody else. But they're chasing Mark Kinzer again this evening. He and Lasowski going to be very much part of the story as we go throughout the night.
Now there's Shannon taking the glasses off. Seconds still good. I mean, that gets him in the main, and that's the important thing.
So there you see the finishing numbers as Wood just did outdistance Gracie at the finish. Others included Hannigan. He came home 7th. Sauter was 8th. And, of course, the problems for Mike Hudson coming home in the 9th spot. Hey, folks, remember, it is now cable television's top-rated show. The unpredictable and downright raw. Raw is War from the WWF. Monday nights at 9 Eastern and Pacific right here on TNN. Join the Doty family as they always gather TV side Monday night to check out the action on TNN. Back to Charlotte in a moment.
The Rockford Files, yeah, classic. Jim Rockford, PI, that was him. I'm presently a law student and was a police officer. Rockford was certainly outside the parameters of the law when he performed his duties as a private investigator. I probably would have arrested him. Jim, great job. Keep us entertained. Keep up the good work. And look over your shoulder.
Taking your calls 24 hours a day.
Do you need more time in the morning? Do you go through all this hair-damaging aggravation every day? Stop! Introducing Wrap, Snap, and Go, a truly new invention in curling hair. Wrap, Snap, and Go will give you the greatest lift and volume you've ever had, even with thin, flat hair, and it works on short hair, too. The patented interlocking technology lifts hair from the root and gives you an even curl from the root all the way to the ends. They just snap together. No more pins poking your head. You can turn this into this into this.
Finally, body and lift.
You can even sleep in these soft, comfortable foam rollers. They're like an extra pillow, and you'll even have time for your morning workout.
I get to sleep an extra hour in the morning, and the curl stays until I wash it out.
They're also perfect to use in the morning. With a little mousse, roll your hair, finish getting ready, and in under 10 minutes, you'll be ready to go. You can even wear them to hold your hair up during the day. Then simply unroll for an evening of curls. Is your morning a fight? Not anymore.
They're so fun and they don't hurt.
So versatile, you can have soft, traditional curls or tight, fuller curls, depending on how tight or loose you roll your hair around the roller. They're 100% machine washable and so lightweight, they travel great.
With an iron, this would have taken hours.
So if you're not a morning person or just plain tired of all the fuss, order Wrap, Snap, and Go and get the easiest, most comfortable lift, volume, and curl you've ever experienced, or your money back. As a free gift, you'll also get this zippered cosmetic carrying case for easy storage. But wait, call in the next 10 minutes, and we'll also include 4 extra rollers as a special TV bonus.
Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-590-5225 to order Wrap, Snap, and Go rollers for only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Order now and receive 4 extra rollers and a zippered carry case as a special bonus. Or send check or money order to the address on your screen. Call 1-800-590-5225. You must be 18 or older to call.
Getting set to go for the final of the O'Reilly Auto Parts heats coming up in a moment. We've updated the standings on the Rat Bag Cup. That includes Danny Lasowski's win earlier tonight in the first of the A mains, the first of two. Remember, $120,000 up for grabs at season's end from the folks at Rat Bag. All the 18 races that we have here on TNN is that's how they determine if they give out points in those events only. $25,000 bonus for the winner of the Rat Bag Cup. It could well be Lasowski, could be that man. He's fourth in the points right now in the Rat Bag Cup. Mark Kinzer.
You know, Mark, you said at the top of the show, everybody else had better come loaded for bear tonight. You still holding to that?
Yeah, I am. You know, the team worked awfully hard last night. As you can see right now, we've got very little work going on in the car. That means you're fast, you're confident. We're just kind of kicking back. Maybe look at the racetrack, see what changes we do need to make, and we'll just fine-tune this maximum.
Now, you elected to go on Hoosier tires. Are you going to stay on Hoosier the rest of the night, do you think?
Well, I tell you, Dave, don't let me give out all our secrets. We do have Goodyear mounted. As of right now, we feel that the Goodyears are the best tire for this racetrack. We'll just have to see what we do at the Mopar.
Well, they're tweaking and tuning and very stout tonight, Eli.
Sometimes, though, you got to be careful not to over-engineer.
Absolutely. You don't want to change too much, but interesting, they think the Goodyear's faster right now. They said, but they had the Hoosiers on, and that car looks really nice right now.
Yeah. Now let's check out the starting grid for the next of our O'Reilly Auto Parts heats. Take a look and see where your favorite is aligned. Brian Paulus, boy, they had to rebuild after last night's tumbles, twists, and turns.
Yeah, they changed everything except the frame and the engine and steering. I mean, the frame's the cheapest part of a race car, but all their what they call bolt-on pieces, rear ends, front ends, wings, that kind of thing, what they had to change on that car.
There's Stevie Smith. Happy 35th birthday. Brad, want to sing to him?
No, not tonight.
Okay, we're trying to hang on to the viewers, not chase them away.
Go right ahead, Eli. I'll let you do that.
I'll pass. Thank you. Green flag. I would have, but we've gone racing.
Darn.
Yeah. Chesson and Saldana. We've already seen one Chesson advance tonight. PJ. Here's James pacing the field with the 83 of Saldana behind him. You see Paulus working his way up through traffic, but being bypassed right back by the 52 of Ron Laney.
They swapped down in the other corners. They go down in the 3 and 4 the lap before, go down in 1 and 2, and they're still going at it. Oh, Laney.
Good battle right there, and Paulus just runs out of racetrack.
Yeah, Laney shut the door on him. He took the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, we got Pittman stopped going into trying to get off the track, it looked like. Just couldn't make it.
Pittman. Best career World of Outlaw finish is actually second at Ken Schrader's track last summer, the I-55 Speedway. There's James Chesson, who has a Williams Grove win and already fast time against the Outlaws this month, if you remember.
Both these guys, really good young race car drivers, and they keep their eyes and their ears open, and they want to learn.
Don't forget, folks, next Friday night, 9 o'clock, we'll be at the Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania, where Brad Doty got his big break years ago with Sam Bowers. We'll be talking all about that. Remember, if you can't get to a race, or if we don't have it here on TNN Sports for you, log on to sprintcarnet.com. They've got the live audio webcast of the races from all across the country. The gang's going to be all around the nation, bringing you the best of the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. Sprintcarnet.com. Check it out.
There's Australian Brooke Tatnall. He was the driver of the 6th car until recently when they put Herrera in it. Nice to see him back at the track.
Helping out there as he tended to the Darren Pittman machine. And now the green Stevie Smith makes the move inside of the 83 of Joey Saldana. So that's the swap for second spot behind Chesson.
I talked about Stevie Smith's wing last night, his right side sideboard being a little bigger.
Right.
It's within the limits, a little bigger than the other guys, and they generally don't run a wing slider also. Most everybody else runs a wing slider that the driver can adjust from the cockpit, and they elect not to because of the weight. But boy, I think sometimes it's a huge advantage.
Here's the battle for the transfer spot. Again, Laney in the 52, Paulus.
These guys are going to be lucky not to be making contact. They've been running within inches of each other the whole race.
Laney doing a great job. He has been 5th at Topeka, 10th at Tulsa in the past 2 World of Outlaw Gun-Out races Ronald Laney has. Of course, Paulus rebuilding that Maxim overnight. No problems like that for Chesson, though. He's got the white flag coming around to join his team in victory lane. So both he and PJ get the transfers. Smith is in. Saldana is in. And here comes Laney with the automatic transfer. Good run for Ronald Laney.
Yeah, he got away from Paulus there toward the end of the race, and actually Phil Gressman got up there racing with Paulus, but Laney did a good job getting in 4th.
So how about that? James Chesson and PJ both winning their heats here tonight.
They're going to be back there smiling, and a lot of people might be looking at those race cars and looking at their tire wear to see what's going on with those race cars.
And again, the top 4 advancing from this particular heat. The top 4 advance: Chesson, Smith, Saldana, and Laney, automatically moving in to the A main later on. TNN Sports with you at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. The Chip Thunder Outlaw Showdown presented by Lance Snacks continues.
Bob? Biting my leaves!
Now there's Bear Advance 2-in-1 Rose and Flower Care. It works up through the roots to both feed and protect them from bugs in one easy step.
I will never go hungry again or get nibbled.
From Bear Advanced, where better thinking always gives you better results.
When I was diagnosed with genital herpes, I was devastated. But recently, I found the power to take charge. I got information, I saw my doctor, I found out about suppressive therapy with Valtrex. Taking Valtrex just once a day helps suppress my genital herpes outbreaks.
Valtrex is the only prescription medication with once daily dosing to suppress genital herpes outbreaks.
I may have genital herpes, but I won't let it get me down.
Call this number for product information and ask your doctor about suppression with Valtrex. Remember, even if you don't have symptoms and are on suppressive therapy, it may be possible to spread herpes to others. There is no cure for herpes, and Valtrex may not prevent all future recurrences. To avoid a potentially serious complication, tell your doctor if your immune system is not normal because of advanced HIV disease, bone marrow, or kidney transplant. Common side effects are headache, nausea, and abdominal pain.
Get information. Genital herpes doesn't have to rule your life.
Call for information about suppression with Valtrex.
TNN Sports coverage of the Chip Thunder Outlaw Showdown presented by Lance Snacks is being brought to you by Mopar. Parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. Welcome back, everybody. Glad you're with us here on TNN Sports. Eli Gold, Brad Doty, Dave Argabright, Bobby Gerald, Lisa Chalenza, and those who have gathered here to watch the Channellock Dash. And that's the lineup that you're going to be seeing. The 10 drivers will be in the Channellock Dash to establish the starting lineup order for the A main. And Dave, how about the brothers Chesson doing themselves proud here tonight?
Well, they're 2 for 2, Eli. James, that's the second Chesson. There aren't any more of you guys out here tonight. I mean, this is it, right? Just you two?
No, this is it. I got a little brother at home and a sister, but I don't think they're going to be down here tonight.
Now, you said to me a moment ago, you're going to change your car a little bit. You're still not satisfied with it?
Yeah, I was very satisfied with it. I think the tires went away a little bit, but that was to be expected because the track it's getting hot and getting a lot of heat in the tires, so we'll definitely make a tire change, some wheel spacing bars, and a few things like that, and we'll get her going.
Well, he looked real good in that heat, Eli, and he told me yesterday he's taken some time off from Manhattan College. He says he's definitely going to go back and finish like his brother because he promised his mom he would.
And that's very, very important. It sets a great example for folks who are watching and here in attendance. Meanwhile, downstairs, you hear the noise that is generated when Lisa Chalenza makes her way into the grandstands. Where are you in that mad crowd, Lisa?
I'm sitting down here in the mad crowd with some pretty girls who are having a great time. Now, tell me, who's your favorite race car driver here tonight?
The Chesson brothers are great.
How did I know she was going to say the Chesson brothers? And what about you, sweetie?
Jeff Shepard, he's a hottie.
See? They know. They're watching. They're having a great time. How long have you guys been coming to the races?
This is our first race, but it's absolutely wonderful.
Danny Lasowski's the man.
See, the boys have to chime in. They have a crowd around them. So they're having a great time. I'm having a great time. World of Outlaws has definitely the best fans.
They are good folks.
I thought Lasowski was the dude, not the man.
Well, he's graduated by virtue of a win here tonight already in the preliminary A. It's great to see those folks enjoying their first race here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Bobby Gerald, what you got down there in the pits?
I'm still trying to recover from the word hottie on a World of Outlaws broadcast. And I'm wondering, Tim, has anybody ever called you a hottie?
Maybe the wife.
There you go. What are we getting ready for here with the Dash and the number 11H? You guys were the fastest qualifiers tonight.
Yeah, well, we're going to change it a little bit from earlier because the track's going away naturally. Hopefully we can keep up with it and get the Vibrant car up front.
Tim is doing a good job, guys. He is coming off of a third-place finish 1 week ago at Hagerstown and also had a second-place finish in the World of Outlaws only race in the state of Alabama. We wish you well in the Dash.
Well, thanks a lot, buddy. We hopefully we'll get it up front for the fans.
Eli?
All right, Bobby, thank you. You know, I'm thinking about it. Maybe they just mispronounced Doty. She meant to say Doty instead of Hottie is what it is.
Oh, no. Don't drag me into this.
I might have hit on something here. We'll have Lisa check on that. Back in a moment.
We are
Hottie Doty up here at the
no.
booth. We've got a new nickname for you. It ought to go on that plaque there at the Hall of Fame.
Okay, I'm gonna think of a good one for you now. I'll work on that one.
I'll stop then. Let's check out the starting grid for tonight's Channellock Dash. As per usual, it's a pretty good who's who in the field. Danny Lasowski and Steve Kinzer.
Seems like the cream always rises to the top in this Dash.
Sammy Swindell and Andy Hillenberg. Tim Schaefer, he's quick, and Donnie Schatz always dangerous. Mark Kinzer, Jeff Shepard, Jason Myers, and Brad Furr. This will set the starting positions for the A-Main coming up later on our telecast. Of course, we've got on-board cameras with the king of the Outlaws, Steve Kinzer, giving us the ride around this 4/10 of a mile track. Is this a tough track design-wise, Brad, as short tracks go, or is this one fairly easy to negotiate?
Well, I would say it's fairly easy, but a lot of times, a lot of drivers, they say there's not a lot of opportunity for passing. The straightaways are kind of short, and from the air it doesn't look like it, but they say you're kind of always in a little bit of a slide through even on the straightaways. But we saw some passing earlier tonight, and I think we're going to see a lot more in the main tonight.
Hey, folks, how about a trivia quiz question for you? Let you think about this one at home for a while. There are 4 Outlaws here running tonight that ran the very first race here in Charlotte at the Metrolina Speedway back in 1987. All right, there are 4 guys that you have already seen tonight. This is not a trick question. Just, so many of you know your history real well. Mull that one over, and we'll give you the answer. 4 fellas running tonight who ran that first Charlotte race here in 1987. And see if you know who they are. We'll give you the answer a bit later on.
There's actually 5, and I know who the 5th one would be.
You?
Yeah, I ran that race.
Yep, right. So,
active drivers.
Active drivers, but we'll got to include you. Because Hall of Famers always get included in all of those lists.
All I can think of is this hottie doty. All that glitters is not gold, I guess. So.
Well, yeah. But all that's gold glitters.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Let's go back to racing. Glad you folks are with us here on TNN. This is the Channellock Dash. Lots more racing coming up on this busy night for you here from Charlotte. Green flag. Kinzer with a cutoff move there on the start. Got around Lasowski with a gutsy move. And there comes Swindell, that light blue Channellock machine to the inside. He'll grab third. The battle with Schatz and Hillenberg for 4th and 5th.
That was a gutsy move also on Sammy's part. They were 3 wide out of turn 2 down the back straightaway, moving Sammy into 3rd.
Riding from the dude's car, looking rearward towards that man, Sammy Swindell.
Look at the run he's got off of turn 2 on Lasowski there. Sammy running higher on the racetrack than anybody. Well, not so much down here, but he was in 1 and 2 and had a nice run off of turn 2.
Swindell won the debut here at Lowe's, and in the wall goes Donnie Schatz, setting a flat left rear.
Yep, he's got a flat left rear. That's what has the car sideways when he got into the wall. The tire was flat before he got in the wall, and that's what got him loose.
He's won 2 of his last 6 races on the World of Outlaws circuit here in 2001, but not this Channellock Dash.
Yeah, I don't think that's a similar problem to peeling that thing off like we saw last night. Again, after, we saw Billy Wilburn's crash going into turn 1 where the right front wheel tire might have come off the rim. He's one of the guys I talked to about not running bead locks.
And caution is out because Schatz was unable to make it around, so Glenn Jarman shows the caution. All right, let's come up with that answer for you as we watch Donnie Schatz and the problems he has in that J&J. Steve Kinzer, obviously one of the 4 outlaws who ran that very first Charlotte race back in 1987. Mark Kinzer, Sammy Swindell, and now the next one might be the toughest. Might be the tough one to come up with. Johnny Herrera ran at Metrolina Speedway that first race back in 1987.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, folks might have easily gotten the 2 Kinzers and Sammy. And yourself, certainly, but...
yeah, I had to think about that. He wouldn't have been the top of my list, I guess.
Here, let's take a look again at what happened to Donnie Schatz.
Well, you know what? I think he did. I think he hooked the left rear in that rut.
In that rut, did you see it?
You know, and I talked to so many guys today that they run the bead locks on the outside of the wheel as opposed to the inside.
What is a bead lock, for those who don't know, as we go back to green?
It's a ring that bolts on the outer edge of the wheel that actually sandwiches the bead of the tire. It bolts on it. It's a big clamp, what it is, exactly. And it clamps the tire to the rim, keeps it from falling off like that.
5 laps, now 6 complete for the king of the Outlaws. He and Lasowski trying to hang on to the front row starting spots in the A-main later on tonight.
When they run them on the outside, Eli, on the outside of the left, well, obviously it's on the outside of the right rear to keep it from peeling off his end of the corners. On the outside of the left rear, if there's contact made with another race car, it lessens the chance of a flat.
That's the 5th place battle right there. Schaefer in the 11H gets the better of Hillenberg in the number 2 machine. Checkered flag for Kinzer. Lasowski second. Swindell, then Mark Kinzer. Schaefer and Hillenberg, they come across the line with Furr flying in 7th. Myers gets 8th. Then Shepard and Schatz.
That's Dana Kinzer. That's Steve's wife. A little bit of a smile. She has seen Steve win so many races in her lifetime that it's just another win.
Right near, what, 450 A features now.
There's a little smile, but again, it's almost routine. She have seen Steve win so many, but this is just a dash. She wants that A-main where it pays the money.
So the king of the Outlaws taking home the checkers here in the Channellock Dash. Came into action this evening in 4th place in points. Remains there, 159 markers behind the new point leader, Danny Lasowski. So there you see it. The finishing order, again, the top 10 from this race will be the first 10 starters in the A-main, as we've got lots more racing coming for you. TNN Sports with you at the Lowe's Motor Speedway dirt track as we continue on this Saturday evening from the Queen City of the Carolinas. Back in just a moment.
Hey, America, what's your vice?
Probably my biggest vice would be my motorcycle.
Sex chat rooms. You don't want to know, you're a man.
You know, the thought of someone watching just does it for me. The thrill.
Gotta be gambling.
Of knowing.
Martinis.
That I might get caught.
It's gotta be a good gin.
Donald Laney, the king. Steve Kinzer's got his bike. Brooke Tatnell, Slim Jim from Mike Goodman's team. They're all down here taking a look at the racetrack and seeing what's going on as they put a little bit more water out here on the track. Now, this isn't necessarily something that these guys wanted to see. Danny Lasowski's a guy right now who didn't have a smile on his face when you saw the water truck. What's going on, dude?
We had a great racetrack, and they went and put water on it. I don't know what the idea was at, but we'll just have to deal with it and hope for the best.
You think it'll blow off a little bit between now and the time that you guys get out there?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll blow off a little bit, but we were getting to where it was going to be really wide, and that's when the mechanics take a roll and the drivers put a little more than just holding it wide open. We got to pick and choose a line and make a good race for the fans here.
Well, that's the guessing game of dirt track racing.
Little forced smile there by the dude. That was about it.
Well, I knew these guys weren't going to be happy. It's always a guessing game, as Bobby said there, but they have nothing to gauge by now. They're out on the racetrack. The mechanics kind of knew what to do, the chassis and what they wanted to fine-tune. The drivers knew the lines they wanted to run. Now they're starting all over again.
Next week, we will be in Lernerville Speedway, Sarver, PA, 9 o'clock next Friday night. That's 9 East.
So I'm in Santa Monica. I live in Santa Monica.
Champion, I've never been there. Tell me about Lernerville. What are we looking forward to seeing next week?
Well, it's a lot of red clay like we see here, a little bit smaller, real racy place. Usually a top groove and a bottom groove, and I'm really
there, huh?
Never been there, never been a televised race there, and a lot of people in that area are really excited. All the fans have come to me for years and say, why can't we get a TNN race here? And now we've got one.
So we'll be there next week. We'll see you folks up at Lernerville. Right now, Dave Argabright is in the pit area with an update on goings on there. David?
You know, we haven't talked a lot tonight about Sammy Swindell, but from where I sit, the guy has really had his elbows up. Since he's not running all the races this year, a lot of people are kind of looking past him a little bit and saying, well, you know, maybe you don't know if he's going to win many races. I really think they've made an engine change. They've been thrashing a little bit to get the setup, but I'll tell you, he's got an aggressive look tonight on this racetrack. I believe he's going to be a factor before the checkered flag falls, guys.
Anytime you show up at a racetrack, Sammy's a factor.
Yeah, he always shows up with his race face on, and he's been struggling a little bit, and as he talked last night, the tires are better now, and I think he's got a good shot at it.
There you see the work still going on the racetrack here in Charlotte. Well, remember yesterday we talked about Mark Kinzer and how he had been the only guy to win an A feature here last year, swept them both, and they had to rebuild the car overnight. Bobby Gerald has just scampered over to the Mopar team, and at least they're smiling, Bobby.
Hey, it's loose down here. Carl Kinzer is shouting. I don't know what he's shouting. What is he saying to you, Mark?
He said 24th to 4th, I guess, from not being in the first feature. He's pretty confident, pretty cocky right now, actually.
A little bit cocky. Now, are we going Goodyears or Hoosiers tonight?
Right now, we're undecided. I think probably the tire choice right now is Hoosier. We're going to watch this B main, see what happens there, and see what folds out.
All right, you're the man to beat, obviously, here at this racetrack. You told everybody to bring it on. Have you seen anybody out there that's impressed you tonight that might have something for you?
Well, I tell you what, the front three runners, Steve, Wasowski, and Sammy, are running awful stuff. You know, they're setting a pace for me that I can barely keep up with, let alone pass. Hopefully, that'll work his magic on this Mopar and get them last 5-10 laps, get the magic going.
All right, and Carl Kinzer, he is the magic man. There he is working right now on a little tire pressure adjustment.
Of course, they dropped to second place in the Pennzoil World of Outlaw points by virtue of Lasowski's win in that first of the A-mains tonight.
Yeah, with Mark falling out sitting on a trailer, as we spoke earlier, that's tough to sit and watch, you know, the guy running second take the point lead from you and nothing you can do about it.
I just can't get over 30 of 106 race days. I mean, that's a number that just always knocks me out. You talk about the grind, there it is right there. Yeah, retired him a bit too quickly.
Yeah, he's hoping to. Obviously, the nose wing's missing off the front of the car, but the top wing looks in pretty good shape. All the wheels are rolling. That's a good sign. Yeah, he wants to get back to his pit area, back to the work area, and see if they can get back out. But again, he'll have to go to the tail, and boy, 12 laps is a short race for this fast racetrack.
Only one lap complete. If you're just joining us, we are live here on TNN Sports at the dirt track at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Everything went pretty much according to Hoyle earlier tonight. As a matter of fact, we had a very, very wide racing groove after a very tough, actually treacherous track a night ago. It really came in very, very well earlier. Then the decision was made a short while ago to water and re-prepare the racetrack to the consternation of some. And now we are trying to get the B main run to its completion with the A yet to follow.
Well, that's part of what happened there after the contact. When Bridges got turned around, you could see him really stand on the throttle trying to do a 360 and keep the car going. And when the car started around with him on the throttle like that, it did the big wheelie and tripped over the right rear. And he doesn't look like maybe that thing's real bad. The wing, obviously the top wing up here, the struts broken off and some things, but they can change a wing pretty fast. If the suspension pieces aren't tore off, they could possibly get back out.
Johnny Bridges, who started outside of row number 2 in this B main and is hoping still to be able to advance. Again, if you're just tuning in, maybe you've been out on this Saturday evening, we'll tell you that no major surprise. Danny Lasowski and Mark Kinzer have been probably the guys to beat thus far this evening.
Yeah, they have, and all, all weekend. But with Danny winning the makeup from last night, Mark Kinzer looked real fast in the dash and things. So it's going to be a good main event.
Let's recap everything that's taken place format-wise here this evening. We did have that A main of earlier. Then, of course, that was the rain out of last night. Then we ran our regular 4 heat races. We ran the Channellock Dash. We're now attempting to get the B main in, and then a 40-lap A main after the 30-lapper a night ago. Bobby Gerald, along with Dave Argabright, patrolling the pit area. Bobby is caught up with a number of guys looking on with a bemused smile, if nothing else.
Yeah, a couple of smiling faces down here. Stevie Smith, the driver of the Ingersoll ran number 19, and Donnie Schatz, a Parker Stores number 15 driver. What are you guys watching here in the B main besides a lot of crashing?
Well, we're just trying to figure out what they're going to do to the track next. I think they really had a nice track, and this water in it, making it greasy and tearing all these cars up, I don't think that's the answer. But this isn't my facility, so you're going to get dust in your hair. You might as well be, you might as well get used to it. We're dirt racing, you're going to get dusty.
All right, Stevie Smith's take. Donnie, what do you think?
I don't know. I thought the racetrack was really good there before. About dash time, I mean, it's a tough call. I mean, they don't want the dust to blow, but there's really no good racing on stuff like this. It's still slimy, and you've seen a couple crashes because of that. So it's hard to say, but, come feature time, it's going to blow dust. I guarantee you 40 laps with 24 of the fastest cars on it, it don't matter what you do. It's going to get dusty.
All right, so there's the reaction from a couple more drivers, Eli.
Thanks, Bobby. The thing you've got to understand here is that Humpy Wheeler, who is the promoter here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, he is very much a fan's promoter. He has a high regard for the racers, too. But he says, I'm catering here not only to the 2 or 5 or 10 or 15% who are here in attendance who are diehard dirt track fans, but I'm also catering to the Winston Cup fan who's in town watching, or the locals who, like the young ladies we heard from earlier, who are seeing their first ever dirt track race. And he says these are the people who just don't want to necessarily get dirty just because they've come to a dirt track race. And Humpy Wheeler will always side on the side of the fan in a question whether he should or shouldn't water down the track or pave a parking lot or whatever it might be. So there's a balance here that he's looking out for the fan first, while the competitors obviously are looking out for their own interests of a very raceable, albeit at times dusty racetrack.
Well, as I say, Ricky Warner working on Jason Side's car to get him back out. But yeah, I mean, that's a fine line. You heard Schatz say at the end of the main event, there's probably going to be dust anyway, no matter what they do. You got 24 of the fastest cars, a lot of horsepower on the racetrack, stirring up some dirt and some dust. But, there is a fine line. Sometimes it's ridiculously dusty, but again, if it's tearing up race cars, and I mean, you got to have enough race cars at the end of the night to put on a show too.
Yeah, it's an interesting deal. I was talking with Ted Johnson earlier, the head of the Pennzoil World of Outlaws, and he was explaining very briefly while running downstairs some of the science involved here. And he said, you put water down, that actually creates dirt and dust. So something that you wouldn't automatically think of. You'd think it would settle it down.
Well, if the track's real hard and there's a layer of dust on top, yeah, sometimes adding water just makes it worse. They'll actually get it blown off to where most of the dirt and dust is blown up against the wall, and it'll clean itself. When you add water back to it, and it just creates more dust.
As the field gets set to restart in the B main, Dave Argabright has an update for us on Jason Sides.
Well, they got the car basically repaired and sent him out without the front bumper. That was the only piece, and his top wing is pretty heavily damaged, so it's going to be tough for him to do much. This greasy racetrack, one of the guys that's made tough is Randy Hannigan, who started dead last. It might be perfect by the time the A feature comes around, but if it's slippery for this B, it's very tough for him to pass a lot of cars to fight for a transfer spot, guys.
And there he is, trying to work himself up from near the tail end of the field after starting shotgun.
And Randy Hannigan was experimenting with a cockpit adjustable suspension system that he could adjust weight in and out of the left rear of that car. I don't know if he has it tonight, but boy, this would be the type of night that it would work most because the ever-changing racetrack conditions.
Here we go. We are 1 lap complete. 11 remain. The top 4 will advance. Gracie, Pittman, they will take the top 2 spots here on the start as they shuffle up the positions right on the get-go. Gracie and Pittman still holding down the top 2 spots. Phil Greshman moving up to 3rd there on that restart. He's in the yellow machine running in the 3rd position.
Yeah, on that red, they were able to fix the nose wing on Gressman's car, straighten it back up. There's Jason Sides coming back up through.
There's Jason sliding it through the corner.
Past 4 cars.
Got Craig Kinzer there in that orange number 11. There's Brian Paulus in the 28 and the red number 3. Normally a solid runner, but not been a great night for Mike Goodman here this evening. 5 laps complete. Todd Gracie, the 1998 winner at the Lincoln Speedway in Pennsylvania. One of the career highlights for him.
Good tough racing. I mean, these guys, as you see Hannigan there, just moving around, as Dave Arkwright said. The racetrack was greasy. It's hard to pass, but you can see a little bit of the dirt starting to fly out, starting to dry out just a little bit in the middle of the racetrack, which will definitely benefit these guys. Oh, Hannigan had to really check up to keep from getting in the back of. I'm not sure if that's Goodman or Bennett. Both are red 3 cars with number 3 on them, but Hannigan really had to check up to keep from running over the back of him.
As the leader works traffic now, that red number 25 of Gracie being chased down by the blue number 3 of Darren Pittman, who has problems. Pittman has problems. He stops in turn number 3. He was closing in as Gracie was caught in traffic, and then Pittman's power plant went bye-bye.
I'd say that thing blew up and locked up. I mean, it locked the rear wheels. You can see him sliding there. There's some oil and fluids coming out as working woody poles in front of the shot there, but looked like it actually broke something, locked the engine up for a few minutes, and it slid the rear tires.
So Darren Pittman, whose Winnebago team has dropped off the Pennzoil A Series to seek that $50,000 championship of the Gumout B Series. That was a heartbreaker right there because he was chasing down the race leader.
Yeah, all the smoke. Look how far the car went with the rear wheels locked up. Boy, it must have broke a crankshaft or broke something inside the engine. I mean, it totally locked up. A little bit of fire there. That's oil running down on the headers.
And you know, we were talking about Goodman before. This now moves him up into that final transfer spot. So lots of racing yet to go. We've got 9 laps complete. A dozen will make up the B with the A main to follow.
Just over 100 years ago, 50,000 Union and Confederate soldiers were killed in the Battle of Gettysburg. In tribute to this historic event, the American Mint has proudly issued the Robert E. Lee and George G. Meade commemorative coin. This detailed collector's coin is genuine legal tender. This brilliant uncirculated coin honors the Union General George G. Meade and Confederate General Robert E. Lee with an exacting portrait of each. Each coin comes in a protective case and is a limited edition minting of only 50,000 pieces. Call the number on your screen now and you'll receive your commemorative coin for only $5. Remember, only 50,000 coins will be minted, and then the mold will be officially destroyed by the Mint. This is a limited TV offer with only 5 coins available per caller. Order your coin now for only $5.
To order the Civil War coin for just $5, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-471-3377 or send check or money order to the address on your screen. This coin is official legal tender of Liberia, issued by the National Bank of Liberia. Call 1-800-471-3377.
It's here, waiting for you. Inside is unlimited strength and power. It builds confidence and reshapes your body. It can change everything. This is Bowflex, an entire gym in one easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 Health Club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance, all in the convenience of your own home. Strength training with Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. And you can own one with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Bowflex is real. The results are real. The question is, are you ready for Bowflex? For a free video and brochure, call or go online at bowflexdirect.com. Do the research, listen to real customers, then place your order online and get started. Bowflex. Who said change isn't easy?
Paul Paulus will come in next, then Goodman, and look who sneaks in up there. Does Bennett or Hannigan get the next spot? We'll have to wait for the computer printout. It's going to be Bob Bennett by inches getting that final transfer spot over Hannigan, who came up from the shotgun spot.
And Hannigan was still racing too. He wasn't sure if the checker came out or not. He wanted to make sure that he got back around there in case he did get the spot, but nope. He was fifth.
So Phil Gressman, who won 42 times in Junior Holbrook's 360, dating back to the late 1990s, from 96 to about 99. He leads the parade with Paulus, Goodman, and Bennett taking over the spots right behind. Again, Hannigan just missing the A, albeit very, very slim margin. So the field now going to be set for the A main, but here's a nice power move by Gressman.
Well, something happened to Gracie. I don't know if he's out of fuel or what, but you can see how slow he is there. In the last couple laps, he really, really slowed down. Fell clear out, yeah, especially in the corner there. It's dying on him. Something obviously happened. I mean, he was running away with it before that, and boy, to lose not only the win, but a transfer spot in the last couple laps, that's a heartbreaker.
So now as the local dirt cars come out onto the speedway here, they have a local Legends division that runs both on asphalt and dirt here in the Charlotte area. That's going to give the fans a chance to stretch their legs, and as the field will be forming up, how much work now will be done on those four guys who transferred? Do they have any kind of an advantage having run the track right now in its watered down state versus the guys who haven't run since the Channellock Dash?
Well, what little advantage they might have, they lose because they'll be behind those top 10 guys in the dash. It's always an advantage to be on the racetrack. They've learned a lot from it. The guys that are in the A main will go down and look at those top four cars and look at their tire wear. They'll look at their race cars, maybe even peek at shock numbers and those kind of things that see what made them so fast.
I'll tell you, we've had superb crowds here in Charlotte all weekend long. Last night, even with the threat of rain and the eventual rain, and of course here tonight, you can barely shoehorn another person into these grandstands. It shows you what the health of the Pennzoil World of Outlaws series is all about. By the way, I want to say hello to Keith Carroll. Many of you may not know Keith. Keith and Sharon Carroll, they've been on the circuit. Folks know him for years. Keith had a bit of a heart attack yesterday and is on his way back home to Olathe, Kansas. But we all wanted to say hello to him.
Well, got word they might be in their motorhome watching this on the way back. Hope they are, and good luck, Keith. Hope everything works out and get well soon.
Like typical race fans, they probably pulled off the highway in Tennessee somewhere, and they're watching the race.
Heart attack's not going to keep them from...
Andy Hillenberg. That's Mark Kinzer with a bid. Coming off turn number 4. Can he get there? No. Back to the battle with Hillenberg right there in third spot, and Mark Kinzer in fourth. Second goes to Schatz. Hillenberg finishes third. Well, this is for the lead.
Oh, and he hits him.
Him out of the way. Boots him out of the way. Now on March the 2nd, Las Vegas, Nevada, Hillenberg is the winner. Andy Hillenberg wins it.
Andy Hillenberg, the winner at Las Vegas, hoping to return to some of that magic here tonight at the Lowe's Motor Speedway dirt track. What's it going to take for you, Andy, to find victory lane tonight?
I don't know. It's a long race. It's 40 laps tonight, so it's going to be. I don't know if we can make it to about the last 8 laps. It'll be interesting. So if we, put ourselves in position, then the last 8 or 10 laps, we ought to be able to go. The track will be slicker by then. So. Same for everybody.
How much will this racetrack change from the first lap to the 40th lap?
It's going to change a lot, probably a couple seconds. It's going to get slick. Just no way, they can keep it. So everybody will be hanging on to them early, and then later on you'll be looking for some traction.
Andy Hillenberg is going to be exciting. Dave Argabright?
Well, Danny Lasowski, you're in there putting a lot of tear-offs on. Do you expect vision to be an issue?
Well, it's a guessing game out there. We put water on it, and it gets wet, and then it dries out. So we just put about 32 on, expecting the worst.
It was a long time ago, it seems like, since that very first race. How much has it changed, and does working at this late really make you chase it?
It really does. They've watered the racetrack, cutting it up. It's a mechanic's nightmare. You change the car to loosen it up when it's sticky, and then you got to tighten it back up when it dries up. It's a tough deal to put on a great show when they keep changing the racetrack.
What do you expect the racetrack to do, and what do you want it to do?
Well, I expect it to stay pretty good. I'm hoping it gets really wide, so when lap traffic comes in, you got a little maneuverability to keep the car on top or the bottom, whatever it takes. Whatever the leader is, the second place guy is going to go the opposite.
Well, they're still guessing, Eli.
But if you're a 7-time champion, like at Knoxville Raceway, where the dude is a 7-time champ, they have usually guessed the right way, it seems.
Again, it's always a guessing game, but they've really had to keep guessing tonight.
So we are here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway as the fans look at the races that are taking place on the track right now, the local Legends events. Back to the pits, Bobby Gerald.
1 week ago, this man right here, Joey Saldana, had his best finish of the season, the World of Outlaws competition at Hagerstown, a second-place finish. Tonight, though, you're starting a whole lot further back, and the body language right now, I don't know what it's saying to me. How are you approaching this?
Well, we've been when I got in the beef packer car, we were trying a different motor deal, and they actually got 2 different motor builders, and now we're trying a different motor tonight and yesterday, and it just didn't run very good. And finally in the heat race, it broke a valve. So we got a good motor in now, but for some reason, the damage is done, so you can't really do much with it now. So we'll start 20th and see what happens.
That's the grind that this series puts on you, and when your confidence gets down a little bit and you know that maybe you don't have the best race car underneath you, how tough is it for you as a driver to get yourself mentally prepared?
It's not, I mean, mentally it's tough because they have really good cars. They spend a lot of money on motors, and we've been running pretty decent with what they got, and we were just trying something different, and it didn't work. But you got to try it every now and then, and maybe Charlotte's not the place to try it when it's live on TV, and you got to do good for all your sponsors. But we're going to do the best we can. We learned a lot, if anything, that we did get out of it. We learned that maybe we need to do some R&D at different races, not at Charlotte. So we'll just do the best we can, and hopefully we can get a good run in for Dennis Roth and Beef Packers, because he definitely deserves it, and we can only do our best.
Joey Saldana's looking for a good run here in the feature. He needs it, Eli.
The 1996 Pennzoil World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year. You know, getting to the front is one thing, but surviving on these circuits are so tough. Literally, survival of the fittest is what wins for you in racing. And they walked away, part 11. That is something. You know, it's funny in this business. I've been around racers. Obviously, Brad, you are a champion racer. For those of us normal folks who might get into a little fender bender driving around the neighborhood, every time you get into the car from that point on, you think about that little fender bender. You guys just dust off and get right back into the race car.
Well, you have to, and you have to have the mentality it's not going to happen to me and that kind of thing. And after watching that video, I said last night on air, first-time viewers, that this isn't the normal. And after watching that video, you think they always crash. But that's over 100 and some races a year. I mean, you're going to have some crashes.
Yeah.
But when you do have that crash, you just have to block it out of your mind. And that's the good thing about the World of Outlaws. Run 3 and 4 nights a week. You got another night coming up. You got to
Obviously, we're getting close to the top of the hour. We're supposed to sign off the air, but TNN Sports is going to stay right with you. We'll be with you throughout the running of the A-Main. It is due to begin here in just a very few moments. 40 laps of racing once everybody gets their cars set to go. So even though we're approaching our off-air time, we're going to stay with you. Little bonus coverage from Lowe's Motors patiently for the start of the A-Main. Dave?
Well, I'm right here with him. Got to lean in close. Microphone's not very long, Mark. Now, this is it, A-Main time. What have you seen from when they reworked the track that'll change anything?
Well, actually, I think the track will probably slide up a little bit. Probably be about like when we run the dash. We run pretty good in the dash. We took some stagger off of it. We're going to be tight at the first race, but we're hoping to run through those first 15 laps that come on at the end.
We'll see when you say come on at the end. how patient can you be early on?
Well, I tell you, you can't let very many of these guys by you. If I get shuffled back 1 or 2 cars, I'm going to have to get my elbows up. Hopefully we can just run in fourth, stay there till about the midway of the race, and then just go to working on him then.
You know, this is going to be fun, Eli.
It is. Mark Kinsrew swept both Charlotte finals last season. He also, interestingly, won the previous 2 Charlotte World of Outlaw races at the old Metrolina Speedway. How did that track compare to this one, Brad?
Oh, it was real long straightaways and a lot flatter turns in this, real long straightaways. But what Mark was talking about, sliding up on the racetrack, what he's talking about is the groove. If you look down in here in the corners, that's the racing groove is still real low. There's still a lot of racetrack right up here around the top where it's still some pretty good moisture up there. They're going to have to run that in, and as the cars run halfway through the event, you're going to see that groove start moving up.
By the way, if you're a Randy Hannigan fan, word from the scoring, he is going to be taking a provisional starting spot. So put the 1X in the starting field. We'll show you the whole grid in just a bit, but he is going to be taking a provisional starting spot. Down amongst them again, Lisa Chalenza. Lisa, what you got?
I'm sitting here with 2 lovely ladies. From Dallas, we have Dana and Kelly. Now, Dana, how long have you been coming to the races?
Oh, just about all my life. My dad was a race car driver on dirt track, and now my husband is. So I've pretty much been coming as long as I can remember.
Now, and you guys have also been taking in the whole racing event this weekend. What have you done, Kelly?
Today we went and saw some of the NASCAR shops in Mooresville, and we just have been driving around checking out Charlotte. And last night we were out here, but it got rained out, so we had to come back again tonight.
And what are you doing tomorrow?
And we're going to the Coca-Cola 600, and then we head home Monday.
Now, these guys are such phone. She has a checkered flag cell phone cover, which I just think is so adorable. See, she's hardcore. She's got it all together. So, woo! And then the fireworks, Eli, back to you. We're going to have a good time down here.
Got the pyro going off there as we get set to start the A-Main here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte. You know, we talked about the grind. These guys, and now it's what, 11 o'clock already Eastern time on Saturday night, and we're not yet done. And these fellas have to race in New York for some big money coming up starting Monday.
Yeah, we saw Danny Wood. Those among many other crews, worked all night, worked all day, built new race cars. He, for one, tears up another car. They're going to probably have to build another race car. They have to be in New York for a race Monday night and as Wednesday night. I mean, that is part of the grind of the World of Outlaws.
Lebanon Valley first up, and they always have. They pay pretty good purse up there.
Yeah, they get huge crowds up there, and it does pay some money.
So that's what the grind is all about here for the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. And remember, folks, whether it's Lebanon Valley or wherever these guys go, 80 live audio webcasts coming up in 2001. Many of you have logged on this year. SprintCarNet.com. The gang is going to be on hand at trackside all across the country, bringing you the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. So if you're not able to attend in person or we don't have the coverage here on the tube, check it out through the computer speakers.
I don't know how many hours or how many miles it is up to New York, but you think about it, I mean, it's quite a ways. If they had no maintenance to do on these race cars, I mean, they're going to be struggling to be there on Monday night and be ready to go racing.
They really are, and then they have a rain date built in. Then they'd run again on Wednesday. Oh, those are the fellas who advanced to the A-Main. You see the top 20 right there. There are 5 more behind that, including Hannigan, who has taken the provisional. That's a great, great field of racers right there. And then you see Laney Goodman, Paulus Bennett, and then you'll add in the 1X of Randy Hannigan, who, as we told you moments ago, has opted for a provisional starting spot.
It's good to see Billy Wilburn back in the lineup, got his car back together.
I'll tell you, if he can keep the wheels on that on that Zero, it's going to be very, very impressive. Let's take a look at the numbers here, Brad, of what we've seen this evening. Who do you like?
Well, that's a tough one. I mean, Steve Kinzer, Danny Lasowski on the front row, Sammy Swindell, and Mark Kinzer right behind. I mean, those 4 guys will really be going at it. And really,
I don't want to call it an upset, but as well as the Chessons ran earlier, anyway, they can come in from a 17th starting spot or a 15th starting spot.
Well, I'm going to make them mad, but they'd be the dark horses in the field, to come up through there. I mean, Hillenberg's sitting right there. He's been running good, and Schott's another one. I mean, he's back there, the 5th or 6th row, but I mean, it can be done if the circumstance. It's 40 long laps. If they're in a lot of lap traffic, it's going to be a good race.
Donnie Schatz has not had a spectacular weekend. He's had some problems mechanically, but there's one of the two Chesson cars in the field. That was James, you saw right there, motoring along in the number 22. Now you see the dirt and the dust is back. They tried as they could, but there's just that cloud kind of hanging over the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Of course, some of that is also the pyro, the fireworks, so it kind of combines to make everything a little more evident here.
Yeah, that's a lot of smoke. And these guys, I mean, once they get these big wing machines flying around, it'll blow that smoke out of there in a hurry.
Good wide racetrack.
Well, and again, it's going to get wider, and what's going to make this race really good is if we can run a lot of green flag laps, Eli, and get into a lot of heavy lap traffic. That's really going to make for an exciting race.
So why don't we take a look now at our Mopar starting grid for tonight's second A main. Mopar, parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. Kinzer, Lasowski, Swindell, Mark Kinzer, they've all been tough. Remember, Tim Schaefer was quick in qualifying way back around 6 o'clock this evening. Billy Wilburn, we've talked about him. Blaney ran well here yesterday until he had some problems and ended up on his side.
Yeah, he was leading, peeled that left rear tire off and turned him over, took him out of off the win.
So thus far, we've had everybody battle to get into this A main, and here we have gotten to the final race of the evening, and it's live on TNN. What you might have missed already tonight, we saw a Danny Lasowski power move to pull away from the field to the delight of his wife, Chris. We saw Billy Wilburn win, and then Billy Wilburn go off into the corner, lose the right front, and lose the rest of the race car, too.
Yeah, you saw the crew celebrating, and that was obviously before he hit the wall.
They had a spin there by Mike Hudson as part of the many accidents that took place over the course of this evening. Sides getting together there with Johnny Bridges. Just some of the action we've seen here at the dirt track, the 4/10 mile at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. There it is, and just off to the left of your screen, all the way on the left, is the big track, the home of the NASCAR Winston Cup race here tomorrow. It is just out of your screen's range there, but it's off to the left. We do have onboard cameras taking you around the track. Of course, the king of the Outlaws, Steve Kinzer, will be giving us a win. He had a recent win. Where was it? In Kansas City. You realize he was saying that was the 136th different American oval at which he has won. 130. If he wins here tonight, I said that number can't be right, but our historian Kevin Eckert double checked it, and he said, yeah, if he wins here, it'd be the 137th different American oval.
Isn't that amazing?
He has won at.
And you say American because he's running Australia and some Canada and things like that, but unbelievable, isn't it?
Really is something. Saw Danny Lasowski giving us some looks around here as well. There's the dude as the field now gets set to form up in their starting positions. See Bristol written there. The Dirt 2001 will be in Bristol in just a couple of weeks, where tickets do remain. Hope you can join us there.
Dave Blaney.
Dave Blaney, yeah.
Kenny Woodruff, very successful team, those two right there. Probably the most successful, either one of them, when they were teamed up together.
A lot of NASCAR drivers have been on hand here this week. Bobby, I believe you're down there, huh?
Yeah, Dave Blaney's down here right now as the fans are getting revved up. And Dave, when the fans get on their feet and they go four abreast, does it ever make you want to get back behind the wheel of a sprint car?
Nah. Honestly, if I could run them full time again, I'd love to, but just a once in a while thing, you're not going to get it done. So.
What do you think of Dale's chances here tonight? I know you hurt your race car last night, the one you built.
Chances are probably slim at the moment. Hard to tell, though.
All right, Dave Blaney down here rooting his brother on. Kenny Woodruff, the master of the wrench, number 15, getting Donnie Schatz ready. And this crowd is getting wound up down here, Eli.
They are, as the four abreast salute to the fans now takes shape. That's a great sight. Something unique in all of motorsports.
That four abreast will do it. That'll put chills down your spine. It just gets everybody so revved up as they come back around here to the front straightaway. The fireworks are going off. The crowd is going nuts.
They don't miss much here when Humpy Wheeler and his crew are in charge of the racetrack. It's always a special show. And now it's what we've all come to see. The big points race of the evening.
You can bet Steve and Danny, they both want to lead that first lap, but what they're going to have to do, as you heard Mark Kinzer say, his car is always fast for the last 10 laps of the race. Nobody wants to make any drastic moves. They just want to kind of maintain and try to find the racetrack. Let the racetrack come to their chassis setup. They could be too tight at the beginning of the race. You don't want to be too loose, because usually if you're too loose at the beginning, the longer the race goes on, the worse you get. So if your car's a little bit too tight, you don't want to panic. It might come to you.
And it's an old overused statement, but you're not going to win a 40-lapper or a 500-miler on the first lap.
Well, some would argue that point. But, you know, you get the lead, then it gets strung out. But I agree, not with all the lap traffic and not in 40 laps at this racetrack.
And not with the quality of this field.
Right. And again, when they get there's the two Shannons, Herrera and Saldana.
As we go green in the A-main here in Charlotte. Kinzer gets the jump on Lasowski. Looking from the king back towards the dude. Problems in turns 3 and 4. One of the Chesson cars goes high overhead. It's P.J. Chesson who comes down on the side and collects one other machine as well. Looks like Bennett getting caught up in that also. That'll be Bob Bennett's machine alongside. There's yet another. That's the Chesson car right there.
And we also have Goodman in the other 3 car, I believe, parked up here.
There's the 3B, Bob Bennett's performance. He's had some good runs this year up in Wisconsin. He was 8th at Superior. He was the fastest qualifier at Oshkosh, by gosh. But there you see P.J. Chesson, who had the first problem there, and that number 76. His automotive tire service Maxim being righted by the cleanup crew.
See, he's okay in there. You see, he doesn't want to get out. He's thinking that, you know, this thing wasn't a hard hit. Maybe we can get it fixed. See the left rear off right there?
He's very animated in his discussions.
Drag link right there, and the radius rod right there bent probably the, maybe not the front axle. You can see it there. If it bent the radius rod and not the axle, that'd be a lot quicker to just bolt on those radius rods and a drag link and maybe a tie rod. That's on the right side. That's the lower radius rod on the right front. The axle definitely doesn't look bent on this side, the front axle.
No.
Those things are all pre-measured. 2 half-inch bolts on each end. They can pop those off.
So while they have some work to do and they get the track cleaned up, we're going to take care of a little business so we can pay Brad's salary. We're back in a moment.
Does it sound like a freight train is barreling through your bedroom? It's impossible to sleep with a snorer.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ken Frank. I'm a medical doctor and a snorer. There is a way to stop snoring. I developed Silent Snore. Now, with just one spray,
Catch what's coming to DirecTV July 8th.
Can you stop the dreams?
Annette Bening and Robert Downey Jr. star in Dreams, July 10th.
This is not about friendship. This is not about love. This is survival.
Join James Woods and Melanie Griffith for another day in paradise. Take a trip to the 70s glam rock scene with Ewan McGregor in Velvet Goldmine. Don't miss these hit films coming to DirecTV.
To err is human. To catch air, divine. The X Games. Tonight at 9:30 on ESPN2.
barbarians, overpowered savages, thwarted the uncivilized. And that was just on the drive to work. Chevy Blazer. Steel-reinforced double-wall doors, powerful Vortec engine. A little security in an insecure world. Chevy Blazer, like a rock.
ESPN's coverage of the 1999 Women's World Cup is brought to you by Monistat, the #1 doctor-recommended brand for the treatment of yeast infections. By Bud Light, official beer of the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. And by Chevy Blazer, a little security in an insecure world.
High above the Goodyear Blue Beagle with pilot Tom Mattis at the controls has been providing these aerial pictures. 1999 is the 101st anniversary of Goodyear and the 74th for its blimp fleet. Let's go downstairs. Chris McHenry has a very special guest. Chris.
And standing by with Brianna Scurry. This team averaged 4 goals a game coming into it. You earned this shutout. What did the game look like from your view?
Thank you. It looked pretty hectic at times. I mean, Brazil's a great squad. Like you said, averaging 4 goals a game, very strong offensively. I just trying to do my best out there. My defense, hanging on by a thread, but we got it done. And I'm very proud of the shutout tonight.
Wonderful game. Thanks a lot for joining us, and JP, back up to you.
Thanks, Chris.
There's no question that she should be proud of this shutout. This entire U.S. team has pulled it off. They're going to the finals, and this is what all the hard work and dedication has come to. They've made it to the finals.
Over 73,000 watched this one as the USA shuts out Brazil. It's a 2-0 final. We would like to thank all of the official partners of the 1999 FIFA Women's World Cup. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. Our Women's World Cup semifinal coverage continues on ESPN2 tonight at 7:30.
Away with Mark Kinzer and Sammy Swindell, Donnie Schatz. They are the front 4. Hillenberg is number 5, restarting here on lap number 2. Outside move for Donnie Schatz there in that yellow number 15.
Actually, that's Tim Schaefer. Eli.
It is Schaefer. It is. I stand corrected. You're right.
I did that earlier. I called Schaefer when it was where the cars are so similar.
Right. Schatz is running in the 9th spot. That is the Vivarin entry for Schaefer, who is challenging Kinzer. We've got a car on its end and on its side in turn 2. Is that Billy Wilburn again?
Billy Wilburn.
That is Billy Wilburn again.
Boy, down in turn 2 just hasn't been good to him tonight.
Billy Wilburn has had. Well, he'll be fine. He's moving around. Obviously, a lot of concern for the Wilburn team, but I mean, he has had some absolutely terrible luck tonight.
I don't know what it pays to change tires on Rusty Wallace's car, but he spent a lot of money this weekend on that race car.
And that is one thing. That's Billy's operation. This deal right here. That money's coming out of his pocket.
He spends all his own money, and here it is. What? 11:30. I guess he can maybe sleep in tomorrow. The race is tomorrow night, but he's been working hard tomorrow night, changing tires, and man, what a shame for him.
Yeah.
He works so hard, and like I said, spends so much of his money to do this. He loves doing it. Just having some horrible luck this weekend.
See the folks from Mead, the Coated Papers folks who sponsor that Maxim for Billy Wilburn. And he was really excited. He told us last night because, as you mentioned earlier, he had that engine borrowed from Indiana, Andy Hillenberg, and he was excited about his chances. And when he was running well.
For us old-timers, I guess, Indiana, Andy ran the All-Star Circuit in sprint cars and ran around the Indiana area in a sprint car and ran a little bit of USAC, and I was running ARCA and has a driving school down here, so there's Oklahoma Andy and Indiana Andy.
Oklahoma Andy, of course, Andy Hillenberg from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. You know the story behind Broken Arrow, don't you?
Not exactly.
That is a sign of peace. If you hand somebody a broken arrow, an old Indian lore. That came from directly out of the pages of Flat Out magazine. That was from Kevin Eckert.
I just want to know who broke the arrow, though. How they did that. Who's the guy that did that?
Maybe somebody in the pits knows the answer. Gentlemen, help me.
Well, I can't help you with that, Brad, but I'm with Indiana, Andy Hillenberg. Kind of forcing a smile. You loaned Billy the engine for tonight. It's been a tough weekend for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's been faster than he's ever been. Billy, he's
doing a great job. He just had bad luck here this weekend, and hopefully it'll turn around for him real soon. But I don't know. It looks a little used up this time. Maybe we can get him going again, but I think he's about out of parts.
Now, you said earlier you're somewhat of a partner. Will you stay on with him now as the season goes on?
Oh, I hope so. I mean, you know, naturally, Dave, you know me a long time. I'm trying to race myself, but at the same time, Billy kind of reminds me so much of the way I used to sprint car race, going down the road by myself and just trying to make it to the next race, and that really means a lot to me, and I just maybe I can help him a little bit.
Racers always like to help other racers. Bobby?
Yeah, and it's tough for race fans to see a guy have a tough night like this, Billy. And you all right?
Yeah, we're okay. I had the car a little too tight, and I got myself pinched off in the corner, and when I caught the berm, it just rolled me over. Tore up some more wings, but all my great sponsors, Mead and Heinz Brothers and Sleep In, maybe we'll buy some new ones.
Well, Brad Doty was saying, I don't know what Rusty's paying you, but I don't know if it was going to pay for all that equipment.
Well, we won the pole the other week over at Charlotte, and we get a little bonus out of that, but it's more than spent, believe me.
Maybe Rusty's up late watching tonight, and he'll have some mercy tomorrow.
Well, we'll be ready tomorrow. We're going to win that 600 tomorrow afternoon. Rusty's a good race car driver, and we got a great team, and pit crew's great. We're going to win that race tomorrow night, so that'll make it a little better.
All right, Billy Wilburn, still optimistic, still smiling. He is a racer, guys.
And that's the best tribute you can give to anybody in this business. He's a racer.
Yeah, exactly, and he really is.
He is that. So we are 2 laps complete, 38 to go. There you see the scoreboard here. 11 is Steve Kinzer, 5M Mark Kinzer. The 11H is Schaefer, the 2 is Hillenberg, and the 1 is Sammy Swindell. So the field forming up for a restart yet again. This one is beginning kind of like last night's A-Main. The only difference is we're not seeing lightning flash on the horizon. We are going to get this one in tonight because there's no weather in the vicinity.
Oh, gee, we could be here till morning.
Yeah. I got an early flight tomorrow heading to Grand Rapids for an Arena Football League game here on TNN tomorrow at 3, but I can go right from here to the airport if I had to.
These guys, they'll get it sorted out here, and we'll get back to some racing. Tim Schaefer, an 11 car, really looking good to come up through there like that. And he's got a good run going right now.
Well, the field being repositioned right now. A couple of the teams are not in the correct spots, so the Pennzoil World of Outlaws officials are down there making sure everybody's in their right spot. Tim Schaefer, his best 2001 run was that second to Mark Kinzer at the Talladega Short Track in Talladega, Alabama.
Sonny Kratzer, that's Schaefer's crew chief, and Schaefer looking forward to Lernerville next week. He's from that area.
Right.
Ran a lot of laps there, too. It's a homecoming for him of sorts, too, so he'll be glad to get back there.
Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. Green is in the air. Steve Kinzer leading Mark Kinzer and Schaefer.
Boy, but Mark looking fast already for early in the race. Again, he said usually the later the race, the longer the race goes, the later it gets, the better Mark Kinzer gets, but he's looking real fast right now.
And here he goes, challenging with an outside move. Now he looks to the inside. This is for the lead.
Made that look easy.
I mean, nothing to it. So the Cousins Kinzer swap a spot around as we ride with Mark. You see him, should be ride with Steve, chasing Mark Kinzer. Five laps now, 6. This is a replay of last year when the Cousins went at it here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Heard Mark say last night to put a new Gary Stanton built Mopar in this thing, and boy, it's motoring right now. The racetrack's sticky. They're using all the horsepower they can get. Not a lot of wheel spin right now.
Look how quickly, though, they are caught in race traffic.
This is when it's going to get real interesting.
Closing in. There's Donnie Schatz in the 15, battling Swindell for 5th spot. Working on the back straightaway.
Boy, and he's coming too, as you see him pulling away from Sammy when he gets around him. Moving up on Hillenberg there in the black number 2. Racetrack getting real wide. Heard Mark Kinzer talk about that. The groove's moving up higher. It's getting wider, more maneuverability. You see Mark go around, I think that's, yeah, Randy Hannigan, a lap car.
And now Steve Kinzer trying to go by the Hurricane as well. It's going to cost him a little distance there.
He's real low, had the left front in the berm. That slowed him down a little bit, but then Mark's going to get up on Brian Paulus. See if he gets pinched down there on the bottom. No, Paulus is way wide. Mark's got plenty of room.
Riding with the King.
You're just, when you're out in front like this, you're just running as hard as you can go. Again, there's no radios, there's no rear view mirrors. These guys don't know where second place is. That could be right on their bumper, could be a straightaway back. You just have to bonsai it through traffic and take all the chances you can. You don't hesitate.
TNN is live here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. 13 laps complete, 27 to go as you see.
And you can see it right there, Steve running the very, very bottom down in 3 and 4 now, and Mark is moving it. Running the top now, he moves down to the bottom.
Having to deal with Joey Saldana, upcoming here in a moment. Of course, because this is family, every family doesn't always get along splendidly. If you were with us last week at Williams Grove, you heard some very honest comments from Mark Kinzer talking about how it's often difficult for him to overlook the fact that his dad spent so much time in his formative years with his cousin.
Well, and Mark Kinzer's got heavy, big shoes to fill, and Steve Kinzer was so successful with Carl. You know, Mark Kinzer's driving this race car, though, too, Eli. You know, a lot of people say, well, when he wins, he should win. He's driving for Carl Kinzer, and if he doesn't, well, Mark wasn't driving the car. Carl Kinzer is a wizard, but Mark Kinzer also is driving that race car. It takes a good driver to get through lap traffic and to keep the tires under him, and he's doing a tremendous job.
Willie Kane, one of the mechanics on that team. That's the cousin of the USAC man, Casey Kane, who we spoke of earlier in our telecast. Around the Laney number 52. Where's Carl Kinzer just looking on? And remember, that car, folks, was rebuilt. I mean, the steering wheel and a couple of decals are left over from last night. That's about it.
Well, they did save the frame in it, and as they told me, it's bent a little bit, and I saw some dings and dents in some of the tubing, and boy, it sure doesn't seem to slow it down any. I don't know, Carl really looked concerned right there when he was coming up on that one lap car, but Mark cleared him and is driving away again now.
Just past halfway, you see 19 remaining out of the 40. Danny Lasowski will be next for Kinzer to pass if he can get up towards the dude.
Boy, what a blow for Lasowski. Started on the front row, and that's how competitive these guys are. It's not that Danny's that slow, it's just that he got started in the back.
And you see Kinzer closing in on Lasowski, with whom we're riding right here in that J.D. Byrider entry. The way it's going to look right now, unless something major happens, Lasowski's lead atop the Pennzoil World of Outlaws points will be from about 7:30 until 11:30. That's about it.
Not very long, is it, when you run a double feature, but you see Steve Kinzer moving in a little bit on Mark. Halfway, just saw the flagman, I think, give it halfway.
16 now, well, 15 remaining.
We're past halfway, I guess.
Hey, let's not forget Donnie Schatz. We had talked about him earlier. He has gone by Schaefer and has moved to within 1 2/10 seconds of the race leader.
And he's coming to, and we know he's on good years. Look at this lead, but we don't know what Mark Kinzer.
Blaney has problems. Blaney was running in 12th. Blaney was running in 12th, and he had those problems.
Mark Kinzer just squeezing by the U2
of McMahon.
Man, what a bold move.
And caution is out because Blaney is not going to be able to make it around. Oh, a heartbreaker for him and a breather for some others. Carl Kinzer said we did not need to see that caution.
Boy, even myself, I wish Blaney would have pulled in on the back straightaway or one of the pull-off areas. Let this race keep going under green. It was very interesting.
A super race we've got going here.
Again, we talked about this at the beginning, Eli. The lap traffic is what really makes the World of Outlaw Racing so exciting. And boy, they were in heavy lap traffic, and Mark made that bold move to go around Paul McMahon, and Schatz is coming. I started to say we know Schatz is on Goodyear tires. We don't know for sure what Mark Kinzer decided to put on, or Carl Kinzer. Of course, Steve Kinzer will be running the Hoosiers. whatever Schatz has on, the combination's working for him.
Look how wide the groove has gotten now. Remember how narrow it was earlier, folks?
Yep, that cushion's moved way up, that moisture's way up, and you see Mark up there probably cooling his tires. When the tires get hot, they can roll around through this wet mud up there and actually cool the tire temperatures down.
You got a better view even right there. You see where that light obviously is. The racing groove has become racing grooves.
Look how much higher it is coming out of turn 2 here as it's turn 4. It's not quite as high up in turn 4.
So the caution for the Blaney machine being pushed off the racetrack right now. Kinzer and Kinzer. Mark ahead of Steve. Donnie Schatz is 3rd. Schaefer is 4th. Hillenberg is 5th as Blaney goes to the pit area. Brad Furr will restart in 6th. Shepard will be 7th. Sammy Swindell will go in 8th spot. Then Myers and Delansky rounding out the top 10, and the Schatz bunch looking on. He's making the outside groove work really well.
Yeah, that's Kenny Woodruff, the crew chief. Liking what he's seeing, but I know he didn't like that yellow because it really slowed down the momentum. We'll see what Schatz can do with him here.
Remember, the U2 in the middle of that pack is now a lap down. Steve Kinzer clears him. Schatz will try and do the same if he can. Boy, great restart for Mark Kinzer. Look at that distance he's already put between himself and Steve Kinzer and Donnie Schatz. He swept both of the features here a year ago. Mark Kinzer did. Schatz is 1 3/10 seconds behind.
It looks like Mark pulled the wing back under this yellow. Got that top wing pulled back a little bit. That puts more pressure on the rear wheels, gives it more traction. Yeah, he's really pulling away. Steve Kinzer sitting back there. I know Steve, he's fired up. He's wishing that yellow, when that was his chance in lap traffic, he's wishing that yellow wouldn't have come out.
Is there going to be another one? Because problems there for Brad Furr.
His tire's off.
Yep, that left rear.
This is amazing. As I talked about it earlier, Eli, I've talked to these guys in the pits today, and everybody I asked them why they weren't running a bead lock on the inside to keep from peeling these tires off. And they said, we've never had a problem before. And we always used to run them on the inside. And there's another tire peeled off.
Caution is out as Brad Furr, as you see, is unable to make it around to the pit entrance. But once more, Glenn Jarman has to wave the hanky. Is there a tangible reason why they're not doing the bead lock on the inside? Why are they saying they're not doing it?
Okay, well, that tire could have been cut. But they're saying the reason they want the bead lock on the outside, if there's contact made, it's a lot stronger. That bead lock right there makes the wheel a lot stronger, and it won't peel open, can't open it open and flatten the tire.
So as Carl Kinzer looks on, as they are aligned correctly, and not yet this time by, or are they going to give them the one to go? Yes, we'll be going racing when they get back here the next time. So 31 laps are complete, 9 remain. Mark Kinzer and Dad Carl want to beat everybody, but boy, they'd love to just again stick it to that Quaker State team, huh?
Yeah, Carl wants to beat everybody every night, but especially the green car. He wants to beat Steve Kinzer.
Riding with Danny Lasowski on the restart. Green flag. Something's wrong with Steve Kinzer. Did not get a good restart at all. Now he's getting up to speed. Donnie Schatz will challenge him. Mark Kinzer got away. It was like the car bogged down on him just a bit.
Well, generally they say that the Hoosiers take off on a restart faster than the Goodyear. But I don't know. I don't think that was a tire deal. I don't know if Steve just missed the bottom there. It was a little bit slick where he got in or what. But he is starting to pull away from Schatz a little bit now.
One car is slowing on the racetrack. Brad Furr has problems midway down the back straightaway.
Another flat left rear tire.
But he pulls off to the safety of the infield. So we stay under green. We stay under green as he pulls into the infield.
See a little bit of a shine coming on the racetrack. Starting to slick off.
Down towards our final 5 laps. If nothing happens, the Mark Kinzer Charlotte parade is just going to continue on, but he has to deal with some traffic. First, the 22. That's James Chesson as Carl Kinzer looks on. Not chewing the fingernails. He must be comfy right now.
Either that or he's got them chewed clear off.
Yeah, he's down to the quick already. One of the two. There's Hannigan.
And Mark's got such a huge lead over Steve, but of course he doesn't know that. So he's still taking those chances and squeezing by lap traffic.
It is 2.5 seconds here at the stripe. Now 2.6 as the lead continues to grow.
Carl just has a setup, Eli. When the track gets like this, just a little bit of slick, a little bit of the powdery stuff on top, that car really hooks up and goes forward.
White flag, 4/10 of a mile remaining. Been kind of like men against boys here tonight. When the Kinzers are dialed in, you can't beat them. Checkered flag, Mark Kinzer and Carl Kinzer. They worked like the dogs overnight rebuilding that race car, and that makes it even a bit more special. Steve Kinzer finishes second, Donnie Schatz third, Schaefer fourth, then Hillenberg, Stevie Smith, Shepard, Swindell will finish eighth unofficially, Dolansky and Myers the top 10, and Mark Kinzer takes the win here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
You know, that's amazing to me. I'm not sure how old Carl is, but he's been out here a long time, and to show that much enthusiasm and still winning means that much to him and is that important. That's pretty neat.
Danny Lasowski, by the way, after restarting last after that tire problem, comes all the way up to 11th place to finish there. So a solid run for Lasowski. It's one of those deals you wonder how he would have done had he not had to deal with that flat tire.
Yeah, he's going to wonder that one for a long time. Just bad luck with the flat tire. Nothing he could do about that or the team. And man, when you have to go to the tail against the Outlaws, I mean, this quality of cars, it's tough.
Mark Kinzer won 2 races in Texas at the Texas Motor Speedway, and he won at Houston, on to Pike County Speedway in Magnolia. He was a winner at Eldora. He won at the Talladega Short Track. He takes the win at the Action Track in Terre Haute, and now here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Well, he wrung everything out of that he could. Look at the engine's hot. There's steam coming out of it.
It was a super performance, and he's back on top of the standings of the Pennzoil World of Outlaws.
That's why they've been champions so many times, man. Never give up and lose the point lead and come right back and win in that fashion, to dominate like that and get the point lead back.
And he's running about as fast as the car, too. He's still a little hyper when you climb out of those race cars.
Winning does that to you. Boy, the adrenaline's pumping. And
you realize that Carl Kinzer has won 6 of 11 races here in Charlotte, from Metrolina and here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. And I'll tell you, you wonder what Carl Kinzer would have thought if we told him at this time a night ago, or even before the rain, that they'd be standing in victory lane when this weekend was finally done.
He'd probably say, yeah, you're probably right. We'll be here.
Look at last night. They were raining, they were fixing the wing, they were doing this, they were doing that. They stayed up all night, and that grind paid off.
Yeah, Mark told me today he took the nut off the header to put on that wing bracket. He was pitching in, helping to work. Couldn't find a nut. He just took one off the header bolts. There's 7 of them on there, so it was going to stay on, and just kind of robbed the nut off of there and got it going.
Let's head on downstairs. Dave Argabright is in victory lane.
Mark Kinzer, I've got to be honest with you. When you said early tonight that everybody else better bring the heat, after the night you had last night, I thought that was an idle boast, but man, you've had it now. That engine was 240 degrees, did you say, when you came in?
Yeah, it was 240 plus. I don't know. You know, we had such a bad night last night. We changed the entire car tonight. I don't know where it went. Apparently, I didn't get the water put in it or whatever happened, or it just blew it out. I don't know. But the whole time was running from lap 1 on. It was well over 220, working its way up to 240, and that's getting melting pot.
You know, you and Steve kind of got a history here. Man, you guys race hard, and it's always really close. What is it about this place that has been so successful here for you?
I'd say it's my mechanic.
Well, that's easy to say. And hey, you know, he's going to like it when you say that too, Mark. One more question. You told us that early that you figured you'd be strong at the end. Were you at all concerned that you were so good at the beginning that it may work in reverse for you?
Well, that's a good question, Dave. I was. I thought we'd be really tight at the end and maybe even get shuffled back a couple spots. But I tell you what, the guys from the word go, the car never give up, the tires never give up, and the motor never give up. Let alone with all that heat, that motor, she withheld, buddy.
Well, it was a terrible start this weekend, but what a great finish for Mark Kinzer.
Well, I seen it in that shot. I did see a Hoosier on the left rear. I'm
Yep.
sure that's probably what they had on the right rear then too. But since they had the Hoosier on the left rear, but I was curious myself to see what they had on. That's Mark's little boy Cole.
And a lot of smiles down there in victory lane. Bobby, meanwhile, it was a 3-second advantage when it was all done over that man, Steve Kinzer.
Steve Kinzer ends up second tonight, the 16-time World of Outlaws champion. I know second sometimes doesn't always sit well with you. How's it sit tonight?
Yeah, well, you know, Mark was a little faster than we were. I don't know what happened. I thought I threw the hubcap off, but somehow the right rear got to jumping up and down. I don't know if we blistered it. It's blistered a little bit. It shouldn't have jumped up and down, but he was just a little quicker than us. We started rolling back down that lap traffic area before that yellow come out, but in an open run with cool tires, he'd just go off and leave me. So just ran second. That's about all we can say.
What do you think about that? Now Mark's unbeaten here at this racetrack on final night. So what is it that they're doing over there that's so good here?
I don't know. I think I've ran second to him every final night here myself, and he's just when it gets track gets like this, he's getting around there good, and it's nothing new for him. They're pretty fast all the time.
The racetrack changed so much, Steve, from the beginning of the night to the end of the night. How much of a challenge is that for you guys? I know it's old hat for you. You've seen it so many times, but nevertheless, it's a whole lot different from start to finish.
Well, the track was good for us. You know, I felt bad for some of the guys that had to run the B main when they'd go out prepared and then they'd go out in the grease and tear their cars up, and it's not fair to those guys to go out and tear the track up on them. I mean, it's good for us, I guess, but there's other guys racing here besides us.
Steve Kinzer, a second-place finish tonight. He is the king of the Outlaws. Eli.
All right, Bobby, thank you. As you see, Lugnut joining in the party down there as the victory lane celebration continues. Behind the cousins Kinzer, Donnie Schatz came on with a very impressive third-place finish.
Yeah, he had a run at him there for a while, and I don't know if he had a problem and tires got hot. We heard Steve Kinzer say his blistered, so maybe the tires got too hot, and Donnie kind of maintained after that.
The quick qualifier, Tim Schaefer, and then old Oklahoma Andy.
Good run for both these guys. They've struggled a little bit at times this year.
Stevie Smith had to work hard this weekend. He had problems here yesterday. Heck, everybody had problems here yesterday. Jason Myers, we featured him early in the telecast, having to rebuild that race car.
Sammy, a little bit of a surprise there. Started third and had some sort of problem. He backed up a little bit. Lasowski, again, you talked about it, coming from the tail to 11th. That's a pretty good run from the back.
97, of course, is Phil Gressman there, not Steve Kinzer. So Phil Gressman comes home in 17th in the number 97 car. And there you see the others. Poor old Billy Wilburn. If there was a hard luck award to be given out here, he would retire that baby. He really would. P.J. Chesson, who had a good run early in the heats, finds his night ending on his side. Dave Argabright is back in the pits.
Well, normally third place is a little bit happy, but Donnie Schatz, you looked very, very disappointed when you got out of that race car. Did you feel that you had more for him?
I'll tell you what, we had the race car here all weekend. We qualified good. You know, we should have been locked in this thing, but we weren't. You know, just had to fight a lot of things. We had motor trouble last night, motor trouble tonight. My race car was a green and checkered car. You know, we were coming. I was coming awful strong there until we had that last yellow, and then after that, you know, I sealed my tire up, I guess, and it wouldn't go. And from there on in, she was just a hang on. But I'll tell you what, to run third and feel that bad, I guess I shouldn't complain. So I'll tell you what, the whole Parker's team there, Parker Store team just worked their butts off this weekend. Kenny done a great job, and you know, maybe I was a little hesitant there at the end of that race, but I was giving her my best.
Is it tough? Is this the toughest disappointment when you feel like you had the car but fell short?
Well, I've had a lot of disappointing things this weekend. You know, last night I felt like they put us back a spot further than we were supposed to. Tonight, you know, same thing in the first feature. I made a pass for fourth to be locked in, and, you know, who knows what they do. Some nights they do a split yellow, some nights they go back a lap, and I don't know. It's just frustrating when you got to fight the mental side of the game and the political side of the game more so than just go out and race.
Well, you got a feeling that By the time we see him again at Lernerville, he'll have another smile on his face. Bobby?
And Dave, a guy that's going to be ready for Lernerville too, as that's his crew chief's old stomping grounds, is Tim Schaefer, who drives for Sonny Kratzer here in the vibrant number 11H. And Tim, how are you accepting your 4th place finish here tonight?
Well, pretty good. I mean, we've been struggling the last couple months, and we've really been going the last 2 weeks pretty good. You know, the race tonight, we just a little too good too early, and the track got a little bigger around. We just couldn't make up the ground, but we're happy with it. The crew's doing a great job. I mean, the vibrant cars, we're finally getting it up front where it needs to be, and hopefully we can just keep it rolling along pretty good and get a win for him.
When you're out here doing your thing behind the wheel of car number 11H, and as we make a little move here, you're out there doing your thing behind the wheel of this 11H car, and the track is changing as it is. What kind of adjustments can you make from inside the cockpit, moving the wing back and this and that? How active are you in there?
Well, actually, I can move the wing back and forth. Plus, I got a couple adjustable shocks on the back, which helps, you know, a little bit. I mean, it's only going to fine-tune you. Like I said, we was just off a little. We was too good early at the beginning of the race, and it hurt us to the end. You know, we just got a little too loose. But you know, at least we're close. We're in the hunt, and to get the vibrant car up front where it needs to be. You know.
Very good, Tim Schaefer, a 4th place finish tonight. They're going to be happy with that, Eli.
I bet they will, as the family of the racers begin to enjoy the spoils of victory. When we come back, we'll have more interviews for you. It's been an explosive night, but nothing more impressive than the run of Mark Kinzer. With Carl's mechanics ability, they win again.
I'm Bob. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm a single male, 5'9", blue eyes, medium build, very available. My town has a lot of historical sites. The Liberty Bell, Betsy Ross's home, Ben Franklin Bridge, Independence Hall, and